So we're going to have a
we're live. Oh, and God, Sam's already dancing. Brilliant. I think my gain's a little high. I'm just going to turn that down.
Right, we're not playing D&D today. Today it's a cooking stream with Sam.
Yeah, cooking with Barney would be pretty good, I think, actually. So yeah, hello to anyone watching. Welcome to Eaters the Earth. It's the terrible, harsh, cruel science fantasy world where I do terrible things to my players. Shall we just get straight into it? I've got the recap ready to go. We should have now little character cards that show everyone on. Let me just go through them and see if they work. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Yeah, I mean, everyone, the players can't see them right now, but take my word for everyone.
Well, that one there that I just saw isn't necessary, is it?
Yeah, they look
That's
great.
Really cool.
Anyway, so we've got that now. Hopefully that works. Although it may all go wrong if everyone's calls start dropping, like they have done. But yeah, let's begin with the recap. So last time, Barnelect and Jurab had been captured by the soldiers of Moda Rayfort, and Kirilia and Ailey, under the pretense of providing aid, entered their campgrounds, but ultimately were unable to socially engineer a means of freeing Barney and Jurab. However, at the same time, surrounded by suspicion and mentally probed by the Esper mosaic, you still managed to maintain your innocent appearance. Unable to talk their way out of the situation, Barney had his left hand lopped off as punishment for thievery, and Jurab was tragically executed. Set free, Barney's reunion with his friend Lox was cut short when it was revealed that he was being used as bait to catch Ilek, the wizard he worked for. And it was only through Lox's confrontation of the army scouts that Barney, Ailey, and Kirilia were able to escape and flee towards Behel. So, does anyone have any questions or notes or such before we begin?
I should kill all my friends.
Sorry. I guess no then. Okay, so.
Sorry, he says. Yeah, sorry. Right, yeah. As if you could experience this pain.
Barnelect. You stare in disbelief as Lox breaks eye contact with you, strikes the camel you ride, and turns, drawing her sword, as scouts from the Rayfort army begin to pour down the hillside. You're forced to look away as you seize the reins of the camel with both hands and take control of the creature's path. Then look down to realise your left hand is still here, attached, and this is a dream. You wake up in the dead of night and meet the gaze of Ailey, who is currently keeping watch over your encampment beneath one of the arches of the rusted road. It is bitterly cold, and as you have refrained from making a fire for fear that it will be spotted amidst the black of night. Is there anything you say to each other?
How long have I been here?
3 hours.
So,
are you dreaming again?
To explain your situation, it's been a hard few days riding westward towards Behel, constantly looking backwards to see if Rayfort pursuers are still on your tail. This is the first night any of you has had a full rest, and it only comes out of necessity. The camels are exhausted, even with Kirilia using her strange powers to increase their vigour. Borne by these swift-footed beasts at a great pace, you've made it most of the way back to Behel in only 2 days. You expect you will arrive at the eastern gate by tomorrow evening. And I will note as well that the life force within the patch of vellum that provided a psychic connection to Ilek has since faded, and now it is just a square of dead skin.
Liam, just to let you know, I've rolled 3.
Oh, cool.
And it's 15, 3, and 16.
15, 3, and 16. Cool. Do you two say anything else to each other?
Are you having the nightmares again, Barney?
I don't think she's coming back.
If she's out there, she'd be wise to go another way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't follow us.
Neither would I.
You're not really that much of a lucky guy, are you?
Yeah. That's actually quite funny, Amy. They just look at my stump and just... That's it. That's all I do.
I think this super meeting is in character.
Yeah. Perhaps you've used a slate of stone as a plate or something for the rations that you did procure, and you do have supplies with you. It's not you're not rationing yourself, or you're not starving yourselves or anything here. Lox and Elected managed to procure supplies for everyone to help you travel on this journey. Well, if that's all the conversations you have at night, you wake up the next day. Barney, having already awoken, is the last one to take watch. You pick yourselves up as well rested as you can be, and you return to the road westward. Shannon, is there any conversations that Corellia has on the way, or?
Could I have a look at Barney's stump, please?
Yeah, so I think we're going to say that you have been tending to this, even though the cleaver that cut it off was heated enough to cauterize. Yeah, you have had to kind of work some of your magic here to prevent infection taking hold. But yeah, it's now healing into a rounded stump.
What if I wanted to heal it into a rounded camel hand?
As in, well, he doesn't have the hand.
As in a hoof?
That's the word.
I don't believe Barney has his severed hand, does he, Sam?
I don't know what they did with it, if I'm perfectly honest with you.
They probably would have burnt it.
Do we have a hoof of a camel that we can... No,
you have two camels. You have two fleet-hooved camels here that you could attempt to transplant on. A bit macabre. You are using these things to ride on and removing a foot.
Yeah, they are our only... They are our only transport, so...
And, it's... His head may be a camel, but he is a dromad. He's not a camel. So you don't know if the transplant would work.
Do you have people hands?
Do the camels have people hands? No, that would be horrifying. They have camel hooves.
Does Barney have people hands?
I have...
Sorry. Great.
Sorry, go on.
Okay.
Oh,
I was just saying that I had fingers instead of hooves.
Yeah, so a dromad has 4 digits. That they're kind of their thumb and their little finger are a bit more opposable than a normal humanoid, and their fingers will be lined on the inside with a kind of tough hoof-like callus kind of thing. So they're a bit hoof-like, but they do function as hands.
Has Corellia brought up the notion of a transplant?
Not yet. I was gonna just say that now. Sam, can you hear us while you go?
Yeah. I'm still.
Okay. Sorry. I don't know how to do this accent in like a sad, depressed little voice, so just pretend that she is traumatized and not just jolly. Okay. But I can't do that. So I had 2 ideas about a little lack of an arm issue. Both of them very likely to not work.
Okay.
I thought maybe I'd let you hear them out, see how you feel about them. So, one of them a little less gross. Maybe not quite what you're going for, but I thought maybe. And this is going very, I'm really going to take advantage of Liam right here and just say what I want.
Go ahead.
Well, it's not just healing I'm gifted with. I've also got a bit of a knack for plants, and I thought maybe we could make something new grow from what once was.
So you want to try
what do you exactly by that?
I didn't hear either of you. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Okay. Just to be clear here, are you trying to give Barney a plant hand? Is that the idea?
Correct. Yes.
Give me a check using your spellcasting attack modifier.
There are stories of blessed limbs granted by the gods.
I rolled a 19. Is attack modifier
So
charisma
plus proficiency. So I think it's plus 7.
Okay. Oh, then 26, baby.
26. I think you would know that even as she's talking about this, Corellia cannot do this. At least in any meaningful sense where Barnlex would have control of the hand. At best, it would be that you are constantly having to concentrate on manipulating a hand-shaped, plant growth around Barnlex's wrist that you would be controlling. So there wouldn't be a way to give Barnlex a hand he can control made of plants that acts autonomously of your abilities. Generally, after you manipulate plants, they wither and die.
I was thinking if I plant a seed in his gross stump, and then a hand grows forth, but it's got vines.
Okay, that would be both a kind of horrendously scary and profound act of kind of.
This is a horrendously scary game.
Weirdly bio-plant mechanical psychic.
You're
magic.
gonna let it happen.
I think this is a bit beyond your abilities currently, I'm afraid.
In Dwaynish, we are more. In Dwaynish, we would call that an infection, and it doesn't end well.
I personally would not like a seed implanted in my stump.
Well, I think you're gonna like the next idea a little bit less, but I'll breach it anyway.
Go on.
I thought the only way was up from there, but that's...
I mean, I think Liam's more like to go for this one, but being gifted as healing in life goes hand in hand with being, able to manipulate death. And I think if you really needed a hand back, we could take it from someone else.
Out of character. That is really cool. Can we take?
Could you do that? It's very.
We take someone's hand.
Okay. To carry over your 25, 26, whatever it was, Corellia, I think thinking on this, you think that it would be a very difficult task, but it would be more possible than a self-sustaining plant hand that Barney controls.
Plant hand.
You would have to sever someone's hand pretty much immediately at the same time, sever the stump of Barney's wrist, hold the two together, hope that there is some amount of compatibility there, and then work a lot of psychic power into this for it to work. So
I didn't assume it would be easy.
Yeah, but you don't think it's going to be like one hand fits all here. Like you can't just take any odd hand you find around and stick it on. Indeed, his dromad. Does
Barney have a twin?
His dromad nature might make it that it would be difficult for, say, a human hand to be attached.
And beyond that, there's also the issue of finding a donor who will cooperate.
I think we have more pressing issues of instead of trying to find me a hand. Although I really appreciate it, and I very much look forward to the filler episode that comes out at some point of us trying to find Barnaby a hand.
That will be cool.
It'd be like an 80s getting dressed montage, but you just trying on different people's hands.
We're cutting off people's hands and us going. As
okay,
I don't know whether or not these people are still on our tail or what. I think we have to keep moving. But Corellia, I appreciate you, and love you very much.
Oh, sorry, I
Liam,
shouldn't.
can I ask?
Grace, what's up?
What is our sense of where, if anything, where Nook is?
Do you mean Ilek? Because at this point he did say when Kirilia contacted them that it was Ilek.
Oh, that was made explicit. Okay.
Well, I mean, actually, maybe Kirilia wouldn't have conveyed that to you, but the last impression you got was Kirilia kind of felt when she contacted him and he went, "It's a trap." She felt some strange kind of a disturbance, kind of distortion, and then suddenly Ilek's life force was very far away, westward, towards Behel, and he did say, "Meet me at Behel." So you might assume that he is there.
Okay.
But you've not been able to contact him since, so you're not sure. Things may have changed.
No,
You don't know.
but I think Ailey's goal is to move with all speed. Then.
Sure. Okay.
You know, she's willing to wear herself and the party down.
Okay.
If it gets them to their goal.
So I mean, Kirilia, you can kind of keep these camels a bit, afloat with your abilities. You don't have to tax them to the point of risking their health. I will say, but they do get tired. But sure, okay. As you continue on your way, what's up?
Sorry, no, go on. I was going to say I could do a little animal handling check just to make sure they're okay.
As
long as you're happy.
To give them motivation.
Sure, you can if you want to.
Yeah. I'll give them a pep talk. Why not?
Just perk them up a bit.
Camel person to camel.
Yeah. From
Is this it's like talking to chimps for you?
Him?
I would say not. Well, I think that's really up to you, actually.
I would say 100% yes.
Okay, cool.
And I got 13.
13. Okay. So with that, you kind of know a bit about it. You can see just the, kind of from the breed of these things, these are about, moving swiftly over a kind of, a distance rather than these being beasts of burden. So they're about carrying a person and their saddle and supplies and so on, rather than putting a bunch of like boxes over them and moving at a slower pace. So these things are suited to the task you're giving them. It's just that you've been going at such a pace that, for fear that, if you would go at the pace that these things normally go at, then the Ray Fort soldiers would be breathing down your neck. So you've really had to push them. You think without Kirilia's influence on them, it may have gotten to the point of like dangerous levels of exhaustion. If you push them for a third day without Kirilia, there could be a risk of a heart attack or collapsing on those kind of things. But you've managed to give them rest. There's no significant risks to these creatures, and they are militarily trained, so they're very they follow your commands. They don't really question them, although they might sometimes spit or grunt in irritation, as camels are wont to do.
I have a thing I'd like to try to do if the right opportunity comes up.
Sure.
I would like to, if possible, have we crossed any bridges or?
No, there is a bridge over the Zura River just before you get into Behel, but you haven't crossed any bridges on the way. The Zura River has been running southwards beneath you, kind of alongside you, essentially. Any
tight passes or anything like that?
No, you're essentially on the kind of gentle sloping banks of mountains. Kind of where it's level enough that you can traverse easily, and a kind of a road is naturally formed by the passage of feet over thousands of years. If you want to find space, as I say, you did sleep under the archway of the rusted road. This highway of rusted metal left by the gods.
It's not a confined space I'm looking for. I'm looking to. I'm considering using architect to sort of considerably ruin the possibility of someone pursuing us.
Okay. I think
I was thinking of dislodging a bridge.
Yeah,
there's
nothing quite like that on the way. This is a wide open space, which has afforded you a certain amount of view, so you can you've been able to check on pursuers. But yeah, there's not really an instance aside from the bridge of Behel itself where you could do something like that, unless you want to get very creative and go southwards and cross the river and try to kind of go through some convoluted route. But that might just take more time than it would gain you.
It's more opportunistic than that, I think.
Yeah, I don't think you really have the circumstance, I'm afraid, for that. Anyway, as you're travelling on your way, you've gotten up. Carillia has had her hand talk with Barnlect. You consider some options. You keep your eyes behind you. You do see on the road ahead, heading in the opposite direction to you, approaching, appears to be a merchant caravan. You do see some dromad at the front pulling camels, different breeds to the ones you've got. These are larger
creatures. Does he have hands?
The people here do appear to have hands, indeed. Barney, you'll see the kind of the signs and shapes of these people. Different tribal connections to you. You wouldn't have any affinity for these people beyond just being a dromad. But you see them going in the opposite direction to you. I'm just going to roll. And Barney, you do notice, getting close to them, there is a look of kind of irritation and disappointment, anger at disappointment, that kind of thing, to some of the traders here.
Sorry, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? That anger for them, from the villagers towards the dromads, or
no. So
from the dromads.
You haven't reached Behel yet. You're seeing merchants on the road, and it appears to be the case that they are frustrated by something.
Okay. Hey guys, do you think we should ask what they're frustrated about? Look unnerved.
Yeah, I can offer them some comfort.
Lovely. Hello.
One of them, kind of pulling a camel by the reins, will see you and raise a four-fingered hand as you pass each other on the road. They're like, "Hello there. How are you doing? Are you traders heading towards
Very well. Yes, we're absolutely exhausted, so we're looking for a place to rest. How are you? How is Behel?
You will not find a place to rest in Behel. The city is closed. A plague has gripped it. If you are there to trade, you must turn back, my friend. There's more to be found in Thype than there is here. Or perhaps you will go past and head to Udrin.
Oh. That's a shale plague.
Thank you very much.
The shale plague,
Did
yes.
They say...
I have heard it's called this, yes.
You know how it got into the city?
People say the bone skin people who come from the Southlands, but we do not know. Simply the doors are closed, and it looks back to this fairly large caravan. I think we have too many things to trade to try smuggling them in.
I mean, I think we're going to smuggle ourselves, and if you want us to bring in anything particular.
I appreciate the sentiment, but I am not going to be handing over my wares to a stranger. I'm sure you understand.
Very wise, sir. Very wise.
Word to the wise, though. There's been a disturbance in Murderay Fort, and the troops of Thype are agitated. Be on your guard.
Is this in... You said Wraithfort, is this in Wraithreach?
Yes.
Perhaps an opportunity, eh? Maybe they are in need of things.
If they have There's lots of suspicious talk about outsiders. You ought to be careful.
Okay, I'm going to make a perception check.
Is that rolling for me?
No, this is me rolling for the Dromad you're talking to. Is Barnlek trying to conceal his severed hand at all, or not? Oh, Sam, I think you're muted.
Right. Yeah. Can I also ask what he got?
He rolled he'll have got a 20 on a perception check. He's not looking for it, but this is to see if he notices it. If you're hiding it, I don't think he would have seen. But
yeah. I'm very much.
Okay. He goes. Okay. Well, then he will go. Surely they will be open to a traveling Dromad such as myself. Kind of looks to you quizzically, Barney.
My cat.
Do you not say anything? So he's
yeah. I was just saying, yeah, they seem they're okay. Just keep an eye out.
Seems a little confused, but he kind of looks toward you and goes, "Okay, I will. Thank you, travelers."
I send a little message to Ailey using my psychic powers. It's got a name. Telekinetic message.
Telepathic message, I think it would be, but yeah.
That is, yes, correct.
Telekinetic message is just like a slap on the back of the head.
That's what I meant. I just want to slap Ailey. No, I don't. I want to ask Ailey, do you think we should perhaps ask them not to mention that they saw us heading to Behel? Or is that too risky?
Ailey says back, can I do it without like moving my lips or anything?
Yeah, it's telepathic. You're speaking in your head and you know Carilla hears.
What I think back is you can't highlight a secret better than to tell someone they shouldn't mention it. We're just travelers.
So smart and beautiful. Okay. I just think that.
Okay.
Do I hear Corellia think that?
Unless you send another
you can see it on my
message.
face.
It's written all over her face. Okay. Sam, can you give me a persuasion check?
Oh, I certainly can. Oh. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. You roll it for me, sorry, because
sure. What's your persuasion modifier?
Persuasion modifier is +5.
Okay, well you rolled a 9, so you got 14. Unless you want to do anything there. On the
can I change that to a 15 and then make it 20?
Sure. Cool.
Dirty 20, please.
Dirty 20. Okay. Well, he seems to this Dromad seems to have got a good impression of all of you, and he kind of nods to you, Barney, and goes, "Be safe, brother. Live and drink. May you travel the salt swiftly." And this caravan heads on their way.
You too.
Cool. I'm just going to roll some dice here. Doesn't mean anything. Okay.
Oh, God damn it.
You continue on your way to Behel. Later in the day, you do at one point see you kind of see a spot of green northwards on a mountain bank, and as you kind of get as close as you can traveling on the road, you can make out there's a few of these large lizards that the guards of Behel rode, and you kind of see the gleam of bronze breastplates in the sun up there, and you can pick up as you travel. There are a few of these kind of guard groups spotted around the place. They don't appear to be hurrying to or fro for anything, but there's clearly a kind of a posting set up to just kind of monitor the surrounding landscape. Barney, you can give me an intelligence check on that if you want, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Shall I roll for you again?
Yes, please. Sorry, because I was just in the process of...
8.
Oh, good. Yeah, and intelligence is not much better. It's +1, so I got 9.
Yeah, you look at these guards posted around and think, oh, that wasn't there before, and you don't think anything else. So, eventually, you draw close to the city of Behel and see that things have changed in your absence. The east gate of Behel, a symbol of pride for the city, with its grand engravings of sphinxes and rocks, has been sealed. The mighty doors of bronze and wood closed for the first time in generations. A few merchant caravans have parked themselves across the bridge, vainly hoping entrance will be granted. Where before the bustle of commerce within Behel was loud enough to be heard past the walls, now only an eerie quiet comes from the city. And you do see that there's more of a concentration of the guards of Behel posted around, both in front of the bridge and on the walls of the city. And you can see as you get close that when they used to have these breastplates, they would be painted in a lot of different ways to denote their specific allegiances. Now they all bear the single sigil of Behel, a bird perched atop a spiral. You approach this place. I assume you're just walking. You're just coming along the road normally. Okay. Amongst the gathered merchants, two figures begin to approach. One pulling a hairy lizard burdened with supplies. He's just one of the beasts that you took with you to Wraithreach, although abandoned there. Both are dressed in very lengthy clothes that conceal their body, and their faces are concealed by a headdress kind of similar to that of the headdress of a burqa. The eyes are hidden, but there's a kind of a perforations within the cloth there so that they can see through, but you can't see within. So these people are perfectly covered in this white cloth.
They're veiled, right?
Yeah, they are veiled and in lengthy cloth covering their bodies. So you can't see you can't see who these people are, but you can see they are very deliberately walking towards you.
Does this outfit have any symbolism or meaning?
Give me a history check.
I will. Gotta locate my dice. And my skills. That is a dirty 20. I rolled a 15 plus 5.
This looks to you like desert garb. This is the kind of stuff that some people on kind of salt desert periphery tribes would wear. It protects you from the salt. It wards you from the sun. The white reflects the sun's rays. Those kind of things. This wouldn't be out of place from some nomadic group. But I will say on a 20, you also know that sometimes it's a history check you made, right? Sometimes this garb affords a level of anonymity that is exploited by others. It's not that hard to assume the guise of different ethnic and tribal groups for political purposes or for obscuring oneself and so on. And so the attire has a certain amount of popularity that way as well.
As I look at this guy already, I'm like, because I have a sense that if Ilek lived in our world, he'd be the kind of guy who wanted to swap suitcase full of secret data on a park bench while reading a newspaper. Like, I'm immediately like, this guy has no taste, and it's almost definitely him.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think to follow up from that, quickly this person looks back to the merchants who aren't looking their way and will kind of peel up the front of their thing, and you do see that dark-skinned chin with that very scraggly curly hair.
I think I say to him, put that down.
It kind of drops it. Just going to roll some dice here.
Oh.
No, don't worry about it. It's nothing bad. Okay. You can immediately tell it's the voice of Ilek. Their companion just kind of pulls up the lizard beside them, doesn't say anything, just kind of stands there, seeming to stare at you, so far as you can tell. Ilek approaches. Where's Lox? She was...
No.
I just look down. I don't engage.
She,
You picked her well.
was she alive when you last saw her?
Yes.
I just nod.
He's going to approach and put a hand on Barney's shoulder and say, Barney, Lox is strong and stronger than you know. I have confidence
she paid the price, Ilek. She paid it knowingly.
She won't have died so easily, is my point. Have faith. Regardless of the circumstances in which you parted, you will see her again. Perhaps we should...
It's bright enough for me to know, as I can imagine. Hello! No.
Why can't I have the doesn't die so easily trait that allows you to survive shit like that?
Well, because there's deeper...
If the other guy is going to...
So, you know.
If the other character is going to pull up their veil and it's Lox and Harry's playing Lox now, like...
that would be...
The amazing thing would be is if he has the exact same spiel about Joran next. It just completely undercuts everything about Lox.
Here's another random...
he looks around and says, perhaps we should retire to off the road, somewhere a bit more out of the way to talk.
We not allowed in?
Entering into the city now might be ill-advised. It's at the time, it is kind of early evening, so the sun is still up. There's still illumination from the sun. It's not nighttime yet. So you're not particularly obscured. I mean, the guards on the walls can see you right now.
Okay.
Can you
got a place
You don't have to fight.
Sorry? Sorry, Shannon, say what it was you were going to say?
Okay. I was going to say, how do we know you don't have the plague?
He kind of regards himself, thinks about it, as, I have only been in contact with Nuh, and one other person in the time it's taken you to arrive here. I believe, given your past efforts as well, I will not have contracted the disease. And if so, this garb I'm wearing should give a degree of protection.
Did he say Nook?
He did, yes.
Despite previous implication that Nook was Ilek?
It's a bit confusing, yes.
How irritating.
Did our characters didn't think that though, did they?
I think the where you were left, it was just confusion. Like some amount of illusory magic over the person you travelled with faded away to reveal seemingly an older version of themselves. And when you saw this, it was like, okay, well, Nook just looks like a younger version of Ilek with like cut hair and some other, cosmetic differences. So you kind of were left in a state of confusion as to kind of who Ilek was, who Nook was. Yeah.
Liam, does my character
we should
have
ask
enough...
our questions when we...
Does my character have enough awareness of technology to have notions of like a copy clan or a genetic patriarchy or something like that? Some sort
I've asked
of...
this before. I don't think... it's certainly possible within, the magic of the gods, those kind of things, like creating a duplicate or
specific legends of...
Yeah, and,
has an entire family, entire clan of men who are just himself.
There's not, so far, I would say, so far as you're aware, there's not a tribe of people who are just duplicates of each other.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that's not something common within the world.
Right. Well, I don't mean commonality. I mean, like, in the same way that Narcissus looked over the water, engaging his own reflection, hence the flowers. Like,
right.
There was a man in the days of the Eaters who blah blah blah.
Yeah. Okay. So I will say this, like, you certainly will have. Yeah, there'll be stuff about the Eaters that regards, to put it in very dry terms, things like duplication, and so on, and assuming the faces of others and so on. That's certainly all there. In terms of kind of the realm of mortals, that those kind of abilities are very much outside of it.
Okay.
To answer your question?
Yeah, so like this, I think then Ailey's belief is that this seems to resemble something impossible and out of myth.
Yeah,
right?
I think that would be correct. Yeah. Cool. So do you come off the side of the road? Do you follow Ilek to kind of a little ways away from this small kind of encampment that's been formed by the merchants here? You perhaps hear a few of them are trying to kind of trade amongst each other, but clearly are frustrated that they are unable to get to the bazaar in Behel that you cannot hear. So, you come a bit of a ways away. You find a few stones to sit on. Your camels come to rest, as does the hairy lizard this person pulls. You do notice when they move, Ilek kind of turns to them and just kind of clicks their fingers and says, "Come, follow me. Keep pulling it." And this person kind of just silently moves, dragging this lizard along up the slope.
Another indentured servant?
And when you get sitting down, this person just kind of stands there holding the reins, kind of slightly eerily still.
Want to sit with us?
Are you talking to this person? Ilek will look
figure, yes.
look to them and say, I wouldn't try with that one. A little simple. Now, I think it's best we talk. First of all, things went wrong in a way that I didn't anticipate, and I've had a chance to think about things, and the way I dealt with you before was to closely guard my secrets, to keep knowledge restricted, and that is a wizard's way, and I am no longer a wizard. My post at Behel is renounced. Barney, you will know that wizard is not just like someone who does magic. Wizard is also a formal title as one of the ruling council members of Behel. And so has a certain amount of significance as a word. You wouldn't call even if you came into Behel and did magic there, you wouldn't call yourself a wizard unless you were a member of the council.
Okay.
So that might have more meaning to you. First, some explanations. I am Ilek. I am the person who's been travelling with you. Nuh is a... kind of thinks about how to say it. Do you know the word homunculus? He's a creation of mine.
Absolutely not.
He is a thing wrought from my blood, and as such bears my appearance. And through my magic, I have now had it that he has come to possess the age I do, or the appearance I do. And
he stayed here while you travelled with us?
He stayed here to assume my position.
Indeed.
This was necessary due to the difficult council politics of Behel. He looks to Barney, and I will say at this point, Barney, you kind of noticed, you didn't really see it before because this Ilek was under this very long clothing, but you can see now that he has two full-length arms. It may be he has that chrome apparatus again that he was using before, that you briefly saw. And you may recall that Ilek himself had one very short arm that was only like a few inches long. The council politics of Behel are such that on the one hand we have the merchant lords who favour the trade of Thype, and we have a member of the wizards, Djib, who you had a chance to see before we all left, who is originally of Thype and so has a favouritism for them, which proved problematic when it came to the emissary Moda Rayford visiting us to arrange for the safety of roads and the centralization of our army so that researchers and pilgrims and important emissaries could make their way through Behel westwards. And the purpose of all of this is best to start at the beginning. What do any of you know of the sunken city that has recently come to be?
Do I know anything of the sunken city that has recently come to be?
Yeah, Barney, you will have caught the news. And I would say
it's a great chrome corpse of a civilization that haunts my dreams.
not a corpse, alive, living, and
Corpses may yet live.
he will go on to explain for Carilla's benefit and just to kind of give Barney a bit more understanding. So it was the case that about 3 months ago there was a 3-day-long earthquake, and then they received a messenger from Khan Doza, the ruler of Udrind, who that a sunken city had emerged from the earth near them. And Ilek will go on to explain that one of their number, then scrying upon this place, confirmed this to be true. This vast silver city, this great place of magic and the gods and divinity that is untapped and unsullied. Moda Rayfort, to go back and speaking as Ilek, Moda Rayfort had, obviously as an extension of the Thype Empire, covetous intentions upon this place, although with honeyed words and gifts and the like was able to persuade some of the softer wizards of the council that her intent was one that was cooperative and would not be in conflict with Behel's interests.
But now Behel's army is run based on the notes from the Thype Empire.
Behel's army...
They advise you in all things now, I take it.
They had demands that our roads be better kept, and the Oseth south of the city who carry a plague be prevented from coming closer to us, as little good as that has done. And had no interest for the squabbling of the council and the petty amount of guards under command of each council member. And of course...
And now Behel's policy is constrained by recommendations from the Empire.
It may be a blessing in disguise to have a unified army. Certainly a series of divisions could cause us problems, but it matters not to the armies of Thype. The soldiers...
Service has its benefits.
The soldiers of Behel, which recalled to the capital, by and large, Moda got a good chance to see. Numbers a little over 400. She brought 2,000 soldiers with her to carry a message. She knows that the forces of Behel are inadequate and our walls dilapidated. And to put things in plain terms, given the failure of our task at Wraithreach, it's perfectly possible that Moda marches upon Behel now. Now, I said I didn't want to keep secrets, so I should next explain my intentions there, which...
You should.
To go back to my concerns about Moda's machinations, I wasn't prepared to have my knowledge be swept away by the ignorance of others on the council, or the foolish avarice of the merchants there. The sunken city is something that should belong to Alakvazi and the wizards that are part of it, not to outsiders, and I do not intend for this place to become another extension of the gluttonous Thype Empire. And such, I set about a plan to have my assistant Nook take my place and head out and work some magic to buy some time. This, Barney, was the purpose of the magic you saw me work twice in Moda's tent, once upon her herself and another upon her bodyguard who you fought. The ability to plant suggestion and change memory My work on Moda was to implant the suggestion that she would delay on any action in Alakfazi. My suggestion, there was not one, upon her bodyguard. It was merely to remove her memories, to give us an amount of protection and innocence.
And you think that your original one was successful?
I think that after I was felled, things fell out of my oversight, and some actions were taken that I can understand. Lox filled me in. He turns to Ailey. Is it true, demon? This is something beyond even my knowledge.
In this case, I could summon only one.
You summoned one. That is more than perhaps any have ever done. That is significant.
It was not my doing.
Yeah. I think you can tell maybe by the tilt of the head that he is staring perhaps more at the rod you carry than yourself. Perhaps the actions of Ailey and yourselves have put some fear of wizardry in Moda. She may be tentative to lay siege to a city where there are several wizards, or, well, 6. But I do not believe this will buy us all the time we have. And if most of her half legion of 2,000 soldiers is still standing, unless given a longer to prepare, the combined might of the wizards would not be able to hold it. And even then, I do not know if they would hold the city against her, or just surrendering to the will of cowards and profiteers around them. So I have need of...
Corellia is gonna stand up just really angrily and just be like, this is the bullshit that Jorab died for. Politics. I'm to defend you, Harry. Good you.
Like I heard like a quarter of that because it sounded very nice, but your internet didn't help much.
I heard it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
I
a
also
new
heard it.
It might well
It's
be
your
mine.
internet.
Yeah.
Blaming the victim. You can tell, Corellia, that Jorab is looking at you under the veil.
Ilek.
He died in a war. That is not the squandering of politics.
It wasn't our war.
Sorry, is Ailey going to say something? Or
He died so Behel could think it's... So Behel could become enslaved fighting all the way down. They're already half bought.
I have made some arrangements that can help with that matter, but ultimately I require allies. That is my reasons for trying to do what I can to save you. I would have saved Jorab if I had been able to. I understand.
Allies are you able to do?
Well, that is a broad question.
As he did this, I'd like to reach out and grip the hand that I believe to be fake.
Okay, as you grip it, you feel warmth and flesh underneath.
Mm-hmm. And I say to him, so I grip him by the wrist, not by the hand, sort of thumb over where the pulse would be, and Aileen has small hands but firm.
Yeah.
And she says, is this still a fake limb?
No, this is necessary to help, not me, but Nuch in his convincing performance as myself. And given that their back is kind of turned to everyone below, you will see that they will kind of lift up these coverings and try to kind of free up the sleeve that's covering their arm and shoulder, and eventually, after kind of moving cloth around, you can see that there is this where the shoulder joins the torso. There is a very neat line of scar tissue all around it, almost as if the arm had kind of been planted on.
Yes, he has your limb and you have his.
Yes.
Barnelek paid a heavy price. What can you do for him?
Get me a new hand.
Barney, I'm talking. I'm on it.
That is certainly something possible. I would need time and resources I currently do not have access to, and I must think now first and foremost to the enforcement of Behel.
I have a question.
Yes, Barney.
What do you want from us now?
As I say, I need allies to protect this country, to protect its way of life, to prevent it from becoming just another extension of Thype.
I don't really like what you're offering.
I think let's say Barney spoke first there. Sorry, Sam, say your piece.
Okay, so I don't really like Thype. Haven't had the best experience with Thype. So, I'd like to go off of what I believe Ailey was just asking, which is, what are you offering? Don't mind me, if you don't mind me piggybacking on what you were saying there.
For you, Barney, you lived in Behel for 4 months. You have friends there, people close to you? No? I employed you as a warrior, but I never used you as one. Do you know what happens when warriors take a city, Barney?
I do know, but what are you implying?
I'm implying it's within your interests to protect
Wants
the city
you
of
to work
Behel.
free.
But I am prepared to do whatever it requires to have allies by my side. I know I cannot succeed in the days to come without them. And I find myself, having lost my previous identity, with an absence of allies. If you have demands, make them. Some of you made requests before we parted that I can still try to fulfill.
Try to.
Have you ever seen a great red diamond?
A great red diamond. He's going to make an intelligence check. His eyes...
And then that's...
Yeah, he whips out the flashy thing and wipes all your memories. No. He kind of thinks to himself. You can tell by his words and kind of talking to himself that he's snagged something in his memory that he can't quite clearly remember. Diamond, yes. Kind of, you can almost feel his eyes narrowing under the veil. What are your intentions with this? It has no purpose.
I will give it purpose.
He looks down to your staff. Yeah. Did it tell you to find that thing?
I have many visions. Some of them are even true.
If what I've read of demons is correct, I do not think I need to tell you. You should be careful with the forces you play with. But I can give you what you want. It has no use to me. You may not find any use for it yourself. So far as I'm aware, it is something that is broken or simply does not work.
Tell me what you think it is, then.
I do not know what it is.
And the Wizards of Behel have no fictions? They tell themselves?
Wizards of Behel are unkeen to share their curios and artifacts with one another. They pursue their own studies with the things they have acquired. And
Who owns it?
it is in my possession. But I was unable to find a way to elicit any kind of magic from it.
Well, I will get you into the city.
He looks back.
And then-
I do not intend to return to the city. But one more time, tonight. After that, I may never see this place again, as much as I love it.
What is your plan?
I must seek out allies. I think we should just briefly wait for Shannon to get back, given that she has kind of relevance here. I'm not sure where she's gone.
I think Ailey is going to request.
Mm-hmm.
She wants an audience with the diamond as payment for services already rendered.
He kind of lost. You were aware of its size. It's little larger than a thumb.
I only want to see it.
I will bring it to you.
Okay.
So, Shannon, you all right? Shannon, are you... sorry, can you hear me? I think you're just muted. All right. So, sorry, just to catch you up. So he's saying, basically, he intends to... I don't know if you got this, Shannon. Ilek intends to go back into Behel once more tonight, and then that's it. Even though he loves this city, he will not be returning.
Want to help, or?
No, it would be safest if I do it with just my companion here. Looking back to the person who is still just standing there stiffly. I will be heading out to find allies, and kind of starts thinking to himself. But basically, the way you understand it, he is at a certain amount of his lack of allies maybe gives you a bit of an advantage in trying to push for things or something.
Look, I only have two requests, which I think is pretty okay. One is what Ailey said before about new hand, and it doesn't matter when you can get it to me. Just like promise that you will help.
Absolutely.
But also, thank you. And also, I want to know if there's any way you can tell of Locks being alive. Or if not, find her.
I have an ally who may be able to help. I cannot assure it, but I can give you a promise I will try.
Thank you.
Karilia, you have been quiet, mostly.
You're gonna give me what you promised me?
A cure to the shale plague.
Yes.
I'm unbound to keep my word. My concern is that I, while pursuing this, may lose Behel in the exchange if I pursue this now, of all times. Or perhaps not. Perhaps I need to cure the plague in the city to help them defend it. I don't know. But even if it was a city of immaculate health, 400 soldiers, and broken down walls, will not survive an army of 2,000.
I say something, Grace.
Sorry, what?
I just texted Grace. I'm to say something. Sorry.
I don't. So I think I agree with him. I think Behel isn't going to stay independent. I don't think Haley cares.
Really, it doesn't care. Barnica.
I mean, he did kind of threaten, the pillage of the city, which will be terrible.
I think Bunny cares.
He's kind of, I mean, he's looking to
He
you,
doesn't-
Corelia, for some kind of answer.
You sent me on a mission with a promise that you'd cure this plague. On this mission, one of my friends died. Told us it'd be easy, and it was anything but. I want you to cure that plague. Not anything else.
I want to too. I make no bones about it. What am I to do if, in trying to cure the plague, I miss the opportunity to find allies?
Maybe you'd find allies in Osiro. Iris? I got the name right.
Osiro, you did get the name right. Actually, because it is the first time you got the name right and it hasn't come up recently, I will give you inspiration. Given that, given it took a while. That is a thought. Perhaps I hadn't thought of that. He'll look to Ailey. Ailey, you came from the Way of Osiro. Did you pass through it?
I did.
I think you have an eye for the harsher realities of life. Was there much in the way of martial prowess within the city? People capable of fighting?
I wonder what's Ailey with like super pleading eyes.
I think they are a hard people, and I think if someone were to show them a kindness long denied to them, they might have a long and enduring friendship.
Can you give me a persuasion check, please?
She's so cool.
I rolled a 19, and I think my bonus is 0. 0.
Okay. He mulls over your words. I have heard stories that there were great warriors of the Boneskin people. Perhaps there's something that can be done.
You might also consider you will struggle to find allies if it seems like you desire for people to stand by your side.
Sorry, Grace, your audio got a little wobbly there. Can you say what you said again? Sorry.
You will struggle to find allies if they realize that your desire for people to stand by you on the battlefield outweighs your desire to give them what you promised. If you won't do what you said you would, for fear of gaining no new friends, I doubt that will find you any friends.
There's a moment of silence that hangs in the air, and then Ilek, without really moving, speaks. Says, "You have shamed me. You speak true." He kind of regards the staff. It's good to see that you aren't just some vagabond who's picked up something. You have wisdom with you as well. Turns to Corelia. Corelia, I will do what you requested of me and head to Osiro to see what I can do to cure them. And I will tell them that I come at your behest. He kind of thinks to himself for a moment. I need a moment to reflect on things, plan of what is to come, figure out my magic. Just give me a moment. And he kind of gets up and walks a little bit of ways. You can see kind of where the stick begins to scrawl in the kind of the dirt and gravel of the mountain banks. eventually he comes back.
Yes, you're muted.
Sorry? What did you say, Shannon?
She's muted, but I think she's talking.
I'm muted on
sorry.
the wrong muting. I've got 2 different ways of muting, and I used the wrong one.
Oh.
I'd like to get up and pursue him. Just as he takes a step away, I jump
he's
up
not a step
and-
far away. He's only kind of a few meters away, kind of mumbling to himself when he scrolls
I
the dirt.
want a moment of private conversation.
He starts getting this. He kind of takes a few moments to notice. You might recall that time when who you thought was Nuh on the mountainside was very engrossed in what they were doing, and you can see strange, kind of arcane runes being scrawled out. And I don't think you would know what mathematics is, but kind of something comparable to doing equations. Ailey, I can I help you?
I think maybe I'll let him do the scrawling, and then I'll wait for him to finish.
Sure. He finishes, kind of gets to turn back and looks at you beside him. Just, Ailey, how can I help you?
I wanted to talk about your fortune.
Yes, yes.
Your death has been a long time coming.
Yes. A long time.
And you seem ready to embrace it. You talk about seeing your home again.
Yes, I think you're right in all those observations.
What are you planning?
I don't know if you've noticed, Haley, but I'm kind of making up a lot of things as I go. I'm just trying to do what I can to stay true to the city that accepted me. It's not really anything more complex than that.
Do I believe this?
Give me an insight check.
With the bonus, that's 16.
16. The words ring true to you.
Okay. And I say, as long as you risk yourself on the dice as well, I can't fault you.
Well, I've already died once. I'm sure there's a few more coming. He walks over.
How many-
Good role playing.
How many lives do you have to spend?
If you're still talking to the side, he will say, it is just the one life, but I appear to be unable to spend it, or expend it, perhaps, would be the best way to phrase that.
It's quite a talent.
Not by choice.
It has been a long time coming then, hasn't it?
He goes to sit down with the rest of the group. I will head to Osiro after tonight, after I steal in and out of Behel again, and I will begin work to cure the shell plague there. This perhaps is the most expeditious way to do things. The shell plague grips the Oseth worse than it does other folk. It will be a harder task, but perhaps by going to the source, I can find a cure that works for all. But there is something I need you to do to help me in my efforts. I will begin my labours in Osiro, but there is something I need you to get for me in a place not far from here. Ailey, do you recall my tale of the monks of Aban and Khan Moz?
They all died.
Not quite. There's some of them left, sleeping, and their ruins are not far from here. I will show you how to find them within, and I will need you to bring some of the sleepers there to me.
Like a quest.
How long have they been sleeping?
How long is it? It'll be, gosh, possibly centuries now. Perhaps 2.
What shall we do if one of them wakes?
They will not wake.
Because
I
of
have
the
seen to
earth?
that myself.
Ah. Elec, were you in that story you told me?
You can almost tell that he's smiling under his clothing. I would hope, Ailey, you would allow me to keep a few secrets.
I'll let you keep your veil for now.
And he begins to scrawl in the dirt and lays out a fairly basic map of the region. Let's just go now and see if this actually works. Hey, there it does. So he draws the River Zura, he draws Behel, Osiro to the south of it, and he marks out northwest of your position, Aban, the ruins there, perhaps a day and a bit away. Head northwest from here, and follow the banks of the Alak Mountains, and you will find it. It is hard to miss, as long as you keep an eye out for it. At the deepest part of the ruins, there is a door hidden from those who destroyed it that contains the secrets of the place within. Ailey, do you recall the words for north and south that I taught you?
I do.
It is time for me to teach you west and east as well. Ilish and Zatash.
Ilish Zatash.
Yes. It's these 4 words and something else I will provide with you before we leave that will open the door. But
Would you trust me with a relic?
sorry?
Is that where this? Will you trust me with a relic?
Relic
Is
may be
that
putting it a bit far. I have a petty piece of magic to keep us in contact, and he pulls out what appears to be just a kind of a small bead of chrome, and extends it out to Ailey, who simply takes it. This is a means by which I can keep an eye on you, and if circumstances require, I may be able to offer some guidance in the moment. But it is
So I hold it.
Yeah, it appears just a plain ball of chrome to you. And Carillia, your abilities, are you able to contact me at a distance yet, or?
Probably no, right?
Not really, no. You were kind of pushed by the kind of high energy, the kind of the stresses.
If you moved to one of my friends again, I should be able to do it.
I will try my best to avoid
Surely
it.
there are more efficient ways.
But I am in Osiro. I will be little more than a day from Aban. I will not be far from you.
You not just give us one of those psychic papers.
The magic I put upon those does not last very long, but I can provide one if you wish. Carillia, you recall that it only really lasted a day, the effect on that thing. But I can if need be. It's not too difficult.
No way to prolong the spell.
Not known to me yet, I'm afraid. Perhaps one day. Maybe soon. I'm not gifted in the way you are, Carillia.
It's not going to win me over that easy. Yes, he is. No, he's not.
Very well. Is this amenable to all of you? Is this something you can do for me so that I can, in turn, cure the people of Osiro?
I'm in.
Once I've seen the diamond.
Very well. Then wait here, and I will return tonight with it, although that will delay you. I would think it best for me to take it to Osiro and give it to you there.
I am happy to wait.
I hope Moda's happy to wait as well, but I am at your mercy. Very well. I have a few things to take care of. I'll be back. If we're meeting tonight, I'll be back tonight with the things that you asked for. Barnlect, you are without a sword now as well. Do you need me to procure an arm for you?
Yes, please. If I could have some sort of sword, and also, I mean, if you've got a spare one going that I can put on my stump, a shield would be
I'll see what I can do.
Miss.
I'll see what I can do. For now, I have things to prepare, and I must part ways.
Fucking thing.
I hope you catch some rest here, and then after tonight we will part ways, but see each other soon. And at that point, we're going to take a break because everyone's asking for it. Cool. All right.
Literally as I type it in the chat, alongside some guilt tripping about Jurab again.
Anyway, if anyone's watching, stick around. We'll be back soon. Bye. And we're back. There we go. Hey.
Hello.
There's all those pretty faces. Right. So, it has come to night.
Sirens, wait.
Oh, sorry.
Muted for sirens, I think.
It's now nighttime. You've put together a camp here. Ilek has had his servitor, you're not sure who this person is, leave their hairy lizard with you as well. I'm just going to roll some dice. Yep.
Oh.
No, don't worry about it. Everything's fine.
Making a lizard check.
Yeah, lizard check. You are kind of, gathering yourselves under the stars, looking at the, chrome belts of the night sky glitter. Kind of just listening to the chatter of the merchants who have now got to the point where they're kind of essentially gambling with each other to try to make some kind of money out of this circumstance. Ilek alone comes out of the darkness. He's abandoned his headdress. You now see his face, hair cut short like Nook's was. But I think you will catch just on the wind. There's a kind of a bit of a clank and a tinkle, and there's a bit more weight to him as he carries himself. And you think perhaps he is carrying a few more things with himself. Sorry?
A bit of the old clank and tinkle.
Yeah. Sure. It completely threw me off for some reason. He comes out of the darkness. Point is, you can see his face, his arms, and it appears he's now carrying kind of wizarding tools, more so than he was previously. He steps out. Right. Here we go, and he kind of kneels down in the dark. Here's a few things. Sorry, I got to also roll for this. My apologies, Barney, but shields weren't so readily available in the Tower of Behel. But here is a sword, and he plants one down. Iron from a land beyond here, a bit sturdier than the bronze we use here, I'm told. Maybe this will treat you well. And you unwrap in cloth a sheathed kind of gladius made of iron. So a bit of a difference to the kopesh you were using before. But, a sturdy sword, to be sure. Functionally, mechanically, it's the same as your longsword.
Right, cheers.
This, and he pulls out a kind of larger piece of vellum, unwritten upon. Karina, I tried something new here. I figured maybe if it's larger, the effect might last longer. I have no idea, but I've done the same process as I did previously. So this may provide us with some means of contact. And hand this over to you and for Ailey. And he pulls out this small little glass vial capped by bronze at both ends. And you see there is some kind of suspension, and within is a crimson liquid that you suspect might be blood. And he holds this out to you. You remember the 4 words, north, south, east, and west?
I know them.
This, along with those words, at the deepest point of Aban, is what will give you access.
Mm-hmm.
And as you go out to receive it from him, he does... as he puts it into your hand, also grabs your hand and says, "But you must be wary. The ruins of Aban were host to traps and a dark
And
kind
things
of
you left
magic.
behind.
Things left behind. And with many years of neglect, they may have turned unsafe. So I would pray you be wary."
If you were returning there, what commands would you give them to pacify them?
That is the wrong question. My concern is that magic, unrestrained, can become wild. And as such would be just
Too long away from the civilizing hands of man, perhaps.
He smiles a bit. Perhaps, yes. That is a poetic way of putting it. The works of the Eaters are not friendly to the touch of mortals. They resist their control over time. Such is the way of these things.
They follow an aesthetic more refined than our own.
Yeah, the belief is that perhaps they prefer to be touched by more worthy hands. And it is in spite of the will they're in, not because of it, that we draw magic from them. But perhaps these are just stories. Who knows?
Indeed.
When you open the door within Aban, you'll find a chamber, and therein undying sleepers. I have given you this hairy lizard to haul them back. I need 3 bodies, which should still be there, I believe.
Specific 3?
I would not be able to... I wouldn't be confident to tell you which ones to take if there were specific ones. Any 3 is fine.
How many would you expect to be there?
It's been a long time. I'm not sure.
1,000? 5?
He laughs at 1,000.
Make an effort.
5 perhaps. 5 perhaps.
Do you want
Can I
3?
just clarify this for Shem?
Yeah, what's up?
I was just going to ask a question, sis.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just to clarify, so we're going to this sunken place, and we got to bring back 3 bodies of people. People bodies.
Yeah, it sounds
This body is a
magical.
metaphor for something that I'm not understanding.
Perhaps, but it might just be weird magic, you know?
Okay.
Out of character, I'm thinking cryosleep or some other kind of long-term preservation. In character, I'm thinking something like the fairy tale where they all sleep for 100 years.
Yeah, that kind of deal. Now I must away to Osiro.
Are you forgetting something?
Hold on. Yes, I am. Sorry, I actually that's me, the DM's fault. And one last thing. and he pulls
I don't
out...
care about the DM, Alec. Get to the point.
I will
save your wizardly nonsense.
I'll lose my inspiration for that slip up. And one last thing, and he pulls out a small carved wooden container, only perhaps kind of 4-5 inches wide by 2-3 inches deep. But nicely carved. It's got little feet, that kind of thing. At your request, and extends this out to Ailey.
Okay, I take it, and I open it.
Okay, you see inside this little diamond-shaped flat. It's only about 1 millimeter thick piece of pure red. It's actually so pure that even in the darkness, it's kind of slightly bright to look at, even the limited light hitting it. It's not exuding any light itself, but it's just such a pure color that it's almost kind of neon in a certain way. This makes us honor bound, Ailey. In the way that I am honoring Carilia's request, I expect, having given this to you, that you will honor mine.
I have no desire to betray you, and I think I have much to learn from you. You can trust me to stand by your side.
Perhaps we have things to learn from each other in time.
God.
I was rather hoping you could tell me a bit about... Okay, this is going to sound bad. I was rather hoping you could tell me a bit about your rod when we see each other again.
How did you know I was one of those girls?
No, he would say, what is it you call your staff, your religious object? A Dwerinish.
I call it my icon.
I see. He almost lost the words. Your icon.
Indeed.
Here, although I think some of my compatriots were too stupid to realize what it was, we call this a Key of Solomon. Something of significance in times such as these.
I suppose it might open many doors.
Yes. Perceptive. Anyway,
Do you know what it is, Ilek, that I carry? Do you understand the presence in which you stand?
Sorry?
Do you understand the presence in which you stand?
Like any mortal, I am limited, I am ignorant. I'm sure you can come to teach me in time, when we see each other again.
One day, perhaps I will show you.
And unless there's anything else, he steals into the night.
Excellent.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay. Assuming
Have we had a long rest?
Well,
No.
you can choose to move in the night if you wish, or oh, actually, we'll go. One last thing. If you just go northwards of here, you'll see the Beckview Flats. You can cross Zura there and head up to Aban that way. You got it.
Thank you.
Obviously, with the gates closed here, it's going to be hard pressed to cross the river at this point. Barnlake knows the way. He's been around these parts.
They give us supplies and stuff for the journey, like water and food.
Well, there are supplies. There are supplies on the hairy lizard that he has left here.
I don't know why I keep finding the fact that we keep calling it the hairy lizard is really funny.
Well, that's the correct name, like in the way that,
I know.
They'll call them hairy lizards. They're lizards with hair. Hairy lizards with
They
hair.
are.
Can we start selling hairy lizard plushies?
If we travel at night, is there a risk of these shimmer cats coming and attacking us again? Is that what they were called?
Shimmer cats were the strange creatures that become invisible in darkness that attacked you previously. It's a bit more civilized in these parts, so you will know, Barney, that there's going to be less of a presence around there. There are always night predators, the main risk of travelling at night is just exhaustion. If you travel through the night and then want to travel in the day, you will get a level of exhaustion. But you're set up to rest here if you want to. It's up to you.
What do you guys want to do?
Ellie doesn't answer. She's just looking at the thing.
Sure.
Lizards. Oh, the diamonds. The diamonds, okay.
Just staring at the lizard. Yeah.
I was like, sorry, I'm
It's so hairy.
This sideways
looking at
hairy
the hairy
lizard
lizard.
head and its pupil dilating, and Ailey's just kind of staring into it. You know, that kind of
I mean, cats do do that, right? Like,
It's the toad from
Yeah.
oh, what's it called?
Futurama.
Yeah.
well, how are we looking, like, health-wise, spell slot-wise, exhaustion-wise?
No, you've gone long rest last night, so
you.
you are rested. You count as having, you know, come from a long rest, but you are reaching the point where you would need another long rest, or you're going to get exhaustion.
I think we need another long rest, or else we're going to get exhaustion.
Wow. Yeah, I think so too. But didn't Alex say something about Mona being in a rush?
Mm.
Well, his concern was that basically like staying here for a day rather than kind of like getting a quick start towards Aban, you know, perhaps brings Moda Rayfort that much closer. But he doesn't know for sure that she's coming. He just strongly suspects it, given, you know, they got attacked by a magical monster.
Yeah. We're gonna have to rest eventually, and maybe this place seems like a safer place to do it. Question mark.
There are guards as part of the merchant caravans that have parked here. It's fairly well defended. I mean, it's not, you know, a city wall, but you can expect to sleep here and not be jumped by, you know, mountain lions or anything in the night.
What do you guys think? Should we rest now?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's rest now, and then Ailey, you can look more at that diamond thing.
Just sort it out, Bonnie.
You want me to sort out the diamond?
Yeah, whatever.
Grab it.
Oh, okay. I go to grab the diamond.
she's just like.
Okay. I'll just go up to the hairy lizard and give him a bit of a stroke.
The what lizard?
Yeah.
Hairy lizard.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you know where you scratch these things under the neck. It makes that noise that means it's enjoying itself.
That hairy sound.
Hairy lizard makes that noise. Sorry.
Can I say it's very appropriate for you to reach out for Ailey and her to do that thing cats do, where they like really pull back while trying not to move that far.
Feet still, whole body moves. Right?
Yeah. So
Are you all enjoying like fun cuddle time with the lizards? Your friend died yesterday.
don't
died.
punish them.
I
Actually, Harry,
I put Giraf's hat upon the hairy lizard. No, I don't.
Harry, you're actually not a reward for a job well done, and I have no other priorities.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's say then you sleep that night. You go to rest. Some of you dream of an angry Jirab. Grace, Ailey is the last to kind of bed down, staring at you as you are at this little red wafer. When Barnlect and Carilla have both kind of laid down and closed their eyes, and you know the lizard and the two camels with you have also gone to rest, you hear this faint grating noise, like perhaps glass upon glass, and you feel a faint tremor within your staff, and you see a very faint diamond impression forms in one of its faces as a portion of it just slides down.
This is what I was waiting for, an invitation. And it's diamond shaped.
It is diamond shaped. You think exactly the same size and depth as this red diamond you're holding.
I slot it in.
It perfectly fits. It was meant to be. And as you put it in, there's a moment's pause, and then a black spreads across the red to make it perfectly uniform with the rest of the staff, almost as if nothing had changed and nothing had been put into it. And nothing else happens.
Well. Excellent. I'm most pleased. I will sing the appropriate mantras of maintenance, though.
Sure. Cool. You do some evening prayer, and eventually rest too.
Good.
You wake the next day, and unless there's anything else, you begin to make your way towards Aban.
I've re-rolled.
Oh yeah.
And it is surprisingly similar. 3, 18, and 15.
Oh, nice rolls. Always good to get highs or lows. Okay, so you begin to make your way. First, you passed. Let's just get this up. Let's get the map up. You head northwards across the Zura River. You come to the Beckvi Flats. It's these terraces full of water where they grow this grain called ruz, or finger grain, for its finger-sized grains. Saying the word grain too much. As you're going through, there are kind of bridges of mud made by the people who live here, who toil in these fields in really just a loincloth and nothing else. The people here are kind of caked in mud, and they're very, kind of swarthy and worker class people here who just till at soil underwater all day and maintain these flats. As you go through, perhaps you'll see kind of rising from some of these pools these long-legged, smaller lizards that are similarly hairy, although their hairs are finer, kind of about dog size. These things rise up, and you may see a few kind of rodents, like large worms in their mouths, and they kind of rise from the water and regard you lazily before sinking under it. Again, you think perhaps these are creatures that form a part of the ecosystem here, as they are pest control for these parts. I think Barnlect will know that much with his expertise. You're heading towards Aban, and it comes to night. You think you see an outcropping not that far in the distance where you can't quite tell at this distance, but there is some. You think there's some design to the place. You see what might be the impression of a broken wall and windows and so on. You think perhaps you're getting close to Aban. You'll reach there tomorrow morning, midday perhaps. In the far distance, you might see the thin trails of smoke from the city Hemmer, also on the mountainside, that reach up and dissipate into the clouded sky, and you come to rest. That night, one of you is visited by something of a strange dream.
Is it me?
No, it's not.
Who's it gonna be?
Carillia.
Me?
Carillia.
It was neither of the people that asked.
Sorry. That night, you dream. You dream you are a mouse. And indeed, you have always been a mouse. Scurrying through the
Gibbous... good things don't happen to mice in dreams. Sorry.
Scurrying through the Gibbous jungle you call home. Pursuing food, as you always are, you climb atop a stretch of pale stone, resting amongst the undergrowth to better sniff the night air. You begin to run in agitated circles as the stone rises into the air and claws rise around you to cup you within this palm. This is not an inanimate stone, but the feline paw of some large creature whose very flesh is fashioned from marble. Raised up, your mousy eyes get a better view of the majestic entity before you. The body is like that of the sphinxes you saw on the eastern gate of Behel, lion-like, yet lithe and graceful, with a lengthy neck. However, this neck does not end in a human head. It doesn't end in anything, and instead is a flat cut of stone, but above it floats a perfect orb of gold. The orb speaks, not with a mouth, but within your mind. Hello, little mouse. Why for have you come to my garden and made such noise?
Back to this dream.
Sorry?
I do things in this dream.
You can do things in the stream. You can talk as a mouse in the stream if you wish.
I'm not going to do a mouse voice, but sure.
Yeah. No, You can speak as a mouse in your mind as yourself.
As far as I'm aware, I was just looking for some food.
Within the waking
Mice
world.
don't have Welsh accents.
Perhaps.
Neither do crocodile people. Go away, Harry.
Come on, Harry, don't interrupt. Perhaps you have forgotten yourself. Here, let me help. And another paw rises to, ever so gently, with a claw, tap your mousy forehead, and you remember the past life of being Corellia and your recent both psychic and emotional experiences with Zurab passing and so on. Does that help?
Varus.
That doesn't answer my question. I heard your little cry.
Yeah, because I bet.
And it roused my slumber. In the waking world, you may recall.
Yes. I want the power to do more good. I feel as though I have the capability, but whenever I try, it just never enough.
The power to do good. Although it lacks a face to smile, you can tell the smile within its words, in its mind. The power to do good. Little mouse, there is only power. What you have is like a... and he almost seems to... Oh, this person almost seems to struggle to recall the word. A muscle. You must exercise it. But you are... weak. I can tell that much. Because I am a lion and you are a mouse. But, I could teach you to use your powers if you want.
I trust him.
You're asking, do you trust him?
Is there malice in his voice? Or...
Give me a mouse-based insight check. Give me just an insight check. I'm only joking.
You're sharp.
A mouse site check?
17.
17. Yeah, malice. Within the inner voice, there is power and the will to use it. If that is malicious to you, then there is malice in their voice. If that is just what it is, then their voice is simply information.
I need guidance, is true.
Do it.
Guidance. I'm still waking up after your little cry, but some guidance for now is that often the desire to use power is the power itself. Never be afraid to use what you have. I will see you again soon, and when we talk, I will discuss more things with you. Perhaps.
What's your name?
My name is Alaz Joalaz, and they say those words and you hear it as such, but you also understand, even though this isn't a language you do not speak, that name translates to the Master of Masters. For now, I'm going to put you back where I found you. But in time, little mouse, we see each other again. And this palm lowers and lets you back out into the jungle. And you forget being Corellia. And you return to being a mouse. And you live out your life until you're caught by a bird of prey and eaten. And you rot and you fade away. And then the next day you wake up. And this time you forget being the mouse.
Guys, I'm going to romance whatever that was so hard.
That's a good fucking dream name. I liked it.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm glad. Do you want to give me inspiration?
I'll swap you.
So, you wake up the next day. Assumably you continue on your way. The ruins of Abarn soon come into proper view. This mountain fortress is a blasted heap, but the impressions of ramparts remain amidst the rubble. Not particularly large, it is Abarn's looming perch upon an embankment that gives it an intimidating presence over the lands beneath. Albino birds gather upon the remains of windows, and they eye you with suspicion as you stagger up the harsh slope before Abarn, dragging your protesting animals behind you. Do you want to give me a investigation check, anyone? And the person who does so can do it on advantage because everyone is helping.
Who's got the best?
I have investigation at +4.
Probably Ailey then.
That's better than me.
The best.
2 dice then.
Yeah.
I rolled 2 10s, so I got a 14.
Okay, that's all right. Once inside, the ruin's dilapidation goes from an aesthetic to a hazard. Loose pebbles from blasted walls form treacherous ground that gives way without warning, and sometimes the scattering of a stony slope reveals macabre vistas. More than once, bleached bones are revealed, the remains of poor souls crushed beneath their crumbling home. Eventually, though, and without harm, you find the deepest part of the ruin. A stairway that descends into what appears to be an unassuming pit, significant only for Ilic's words about seeking the deepest part of this place. Broken floors and ceilings above allow enough sunlight to permeate down here that you do not require torchlight, but shadows rob the place of detail. What are you doing?
So we've come to the place that was described by Ilak.
This appears to be, so far as you can find, the deepest part of the ruin.
Appears to be. Okay.
I reckon it's going to be guarded.
Is there a door?
You cannot see a door. This appears to be just a kind of a circular pit. I mean, pit might imply a certain like things of refuse are thrown in here. It's just by virtue of the fact that this is a low place that things have scattered down into this place. This appears to be just stairs that descend into a round part of this building.
I have a question about one of my spells.
Yep.
One of my spells can target a door made of ether technology.
Okay.
My question is, if I attempt to cast on something that isn't made of ether technology, what happens?
Nothing. If you're targeting a door that's just made of wood, nothing happens.
Do I expend a spell slot?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so it's not like...
Yeah, you still do the spell, it just fails to find a target.
I see. So it's not like... There are other cases where like choosing an illegal target would make the spell fail to even like begin?
I believe because you would still have to... in this instance, because you would still have to do a mantra and search... it would still count as expending a spell slot, yeah.
Cool. So I can't go around testing all the things for being possibly made of
constantly. I mean, I'll let you kind of generalize the area you target it, and if there's something there, you'll lock onto it. But you can't willy-nilly go around doing spells.
Boo.
I know. Sorry. Mean DM.
I didn't ask Ilek. The thing only works once.
Sam, you're green now, but hopefully we'll get you back in, stunning.
He's fine.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
he's fine for me.
I know why. I can see all of you.
I don't know.
How strange.
How strange. Well, hopefully I'll get you back.
Green with envy.
I definitely prefer your face to this green, but we'll have to make do. Anyway, what is Ailey doing?
It is a second level spell slot to try to lock or unlock. If this appears to be the deepest point, I'm going to attempt to use the thing that unlocks. I'm going to warn everyone. I'm going to get the vial out. and I'm going to speak the appropriate words.
Cool. So do you descend the steps, or?
Oh, I go all the way in. Yeah.
Sure. You descend down to these steps. You're in this lowest place. Looking up is Carillia and Barnlect. I'm going to assume you've tied up your animals outside. Say the words when you're ready, Grace.
I don't know what the words are off the top of my head.
No, you might want to note them
Let me see if
down.
I've written.
They might be plot relevant, given they keep coming up. There we go. Sam's back.
Go on then. Will you tell me them again so I can write them down?
Aum.
Aum.
Thatum. Thatoum. Ilish. Ilish.
Ilish.
Yeah. And Zatash. Zatach.
And those are in order north, south, east, west?
Yes. No, north, south, west, east.
North, south, west, east.
Actually, I can't remember, to be honest. I think it's west, east. But
as long as you don't care, I don't mind either.
No, I know. I should remember this. I wrote this. Anyway.
And didn't he say there was one other keyword?
No, it's the kind of the as Ilek explained to you before, the kind of north, south,
final
east,
component
west,
was what he said.
The component. He gave you this thing that suspiciously looks like a vial containing blood suspended in something.
Well, I'm going to risk the possibility this only works once, and I'm going to speak the words.
Okay. Where have you got this vial of blood on your person?
I take it out.
Okay.
I put it on the ground in front of me, and I speak to it.
Okay. You place it on the ground. I
think possibly even I crouch before it. I'm not cross-legged as I would doing proper magic of my own, but I'm ready to sort of step back if it goes wrong.
Okay. You place it down, you kneel, you say the words. From the stone edifice in front of you, you, for just a moment, in the dust in the air, see the thinnest beam of light emit from some unassuming part of it to contact with the blood inside this vial. And a portion of the edifice before you, the size of a large rectangular doorway, suddenly begins to flicker. The stone itself becomes partially immaterial. You can see through it, although it is still flickering and present and there. You see that as it does so, several loose stones that were kind of had fallen onto it seem to just fall through and clatter to the ground. A hallway appears before you.
I'd like to touch the image with my knife.
You reach out, you pass clean through, as if it almost wasn't there. Although if you touch with a finger, you will feel just the faintest kind of prickle. It's like pins and needles.
Then I'll call up and I will say, I have opened the barrier.
Cool. So just for the description here, a hallway appears before you, wholly unlit within. The drabs of sunlight from above only illuminate the mouth of this structure, but the difference is already stark. Where outside is cracked, dirty stone scattered with rubble, inside, pristine carved floors display patterns of twisting serpents and entangled gods. But beyond it is darkness. This is unlit within here, and the sunlight doesn't reach down far enough to illuminate anything within. Unless you want to go in and have your eyes adjust to the dark. But you have.
I'm going to call down, and I'm going to take the blood.
Cool. You pick it up. This.
Also, I have dark vision.
Oh, you have dark vision. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Do I just have perfect vision in the dark, or what?
I think you have. So what you have is if there is a presence of light, you can see. If there is some presence of light, no matter how negligible, you can still see. So you will be able to see into here just about. Yeah. Shannon, should we say Carillia creates fire in her palm to provide illumination? Cool. So you light this.
I take the blood as well.
Yeah. One thing. As this edifice has opened, Carillia, you have felt the hairs on the back of your neck prickle as there is this kind of thrum of the sensation of life force, almost like stale air escaping from a cave that suddenly opens. This thrum comes out as this doorway is opened and kind of washes over you. You get this strange sensation of there just being this condensed, overwhelming presence of life within this, beyond this doorway that's opened.
Like an unpleasant sense. Icky.
It's not pleasant or unpleasant. It's just powerful. Anyway, you head down. Kurilia provides illumination. Seeing the full extension of the hall, there is a prelude to some of the strange horror within. Concealed in shadow before, now you see alcoves set into the walls on either side, each large enough to house the mummified corpse within. Each seats in a pose of perfect meditation, a monk, hands resting in the lap of crossed legs. And from the shrunken gut of each, a tube extends outwards like an umbilical cord. All tubes descend to the floor and head deeper into this place, snaking amongst the serpent carving that you now see as one single entangling beast. With dim illumination, you see the hall ends and becomes a large round chamber. At its centre, an altar, and above, a curious glinting in the dark. Across stagnant air, the faint sound of a rhythmic thump is carried to all of you. You head into this place.
Hobby?
Perhaps.
I think so.
You go through and come into this round chamber where it seems the passage ends. Suspended in the centre of this round chamber is a tube of clear, hard, reflective substance. Some of you know it as glass. For others, it is a colourless perfection of resin. It is large enough to contain a body, marking it as too big to be the work of mortal hands. But any wonder at the object is moot before what it contains. A heart of gold, beating, a gouge in its side weeping, the barest trickle of golden ichor that gathers in a thin puddle at the bottom of the cylinder. Around the heart, what first appears to be twisted apparatus of gold reveals itself to be a petrified, barely begun body, incomplete and unmoving. Bones, organs, and veins and muscles extend from the beating heart, and you can view all the layers that make up a person, rendered in gleaming, crumbling gold.
To be clear, is this a normal-sized heart?
This is a normal-sized human heart, but
Made
it
of
appears to be
gold,
made of pure gold.
apparently living,
And living.
and it's trying and failing to grow itself a body?
That's, yeah, it kind of looks like that, yes.
Shit, what?
Beneath the cylinder, a syringe
Really?
extends downwards at an angle, and behind the umbilical cords of the mummified monks feed into alien mechanisms within this place. Around you in the chamber, the stone walls are carved with reliefs of this great single twisting serpent that binds the bodies of many gods that war against it restrained. And there are alcoves in upper levels that are quite set in, and you see statues depicting divas and gods, not unlike those that you would have seen at Dwer Inish, Ailey. In fact, I'm going to roll for you here. Of an eerie similarity of design and aesthetic.
Concerningly similar.
Yes. You didn't notice as you came in, but at the side of this chamber, this round chamber that you've gone into, set into the walls are 8 half sarcophagi. It's only the back half. These golden containers, and within 8 of them are 5 bodies. You draw close to them, see illumination, and you see what appears to be people of different mutant tribes, different ethnicities, different descents, all perfectly bound tightly within bandage that crosses their arms over their chest. And if it weren't for the stillness of breath, these people would seem perfectly alive and simply sleeping. Even though with the stagnant air, you can tell that these people have been contained within this place for decades or centuries without disturbance.
Ooh.
This all seem a little easy to you?
Anyone can give me an investigation check here. If they want.
Is this again a group one with advantage?
No, this is anyone. If anyone's poking around this place, they can.
I'm not poking around. I'm staring at the walls.
Okay.
I'm
decipher
gonna.
symbology.
I'll have a little poke.
Okay, give me an investigation check then.
It's dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay.
Nice.
You come close to this syringe. There's a kind of a mechanism at the bottom of this glass tube that extends out and holds this syringe. And coming over it, it is kind of eerily positioned to clearly descend upon this altar at the center here. Which, I was on a dirty 20. Looking at the kind of the carving of the stone, it is not a plain oblong block. The shaping of this is such that a person could lie over this with the kind of neck exposed upwards. You go out and you catch a odd kind of tar-like glimmer or colour around the mouth of this syringe, and kind of as you angle round so your shadow isn't blocking the light cast by Corellia, you reach out and touch this horrible, sticky black substance around the mouth of this syringe and kind of around it, almost as if something's kind of
Blood.
gummed around it. It's not blood; it's too fleshy and thick. And quivering, and as you look down, you see a thin kind of line of black splatter leads away from this syringe and up into around one of these alcoves, and you hear this faint kind of squealing in the dark. And I will say on the 20, you have the very distinct immediate impression that something is in here with you. I'm going to give you a split second as you realise this, if you want to do anything, or you can stay calm and cool.
I'll do it calmly, but I say, guys, I think we should keep our eyes open.
Okay.
I perhaps roll a nature check to see if I know what kind of thing made the noise.
I think only Barnlex has picked up this thin squealing that you might just think is air, moving through this place or something. That's what Barnlex says. I think at this point it would be best if everyone rolls initiative.
I have a question.
Hello.
No!
If I begin a mantra, do I have to choose a target but at the beginning?
I believe so. Although, I mean, in the circumstances, I might allow you to shift over that target if you want. Yes.
I was mostly thinking about the possibility of preparing a mantra for the possibility of a thing not yet seen.
I think that might be pushing it. Given that you kind of, when you start a mantra, you can't hold it in until you use it. You have to loose it as soon as you're done. So you wouldn't be able to prime it for something, if that's what you're asking.
Well, more I mean like if I was, say, expecting to be battling a creature within, say, 2 rounds of combat, I might want to get a mantra started before I've seen the thing appear.
I think you would think that is too dangerous. Like the risks of that outweigh the possible benefits, because you don't really know a creature's going to be in it, and doing one of these spells, A, could go wrong and backfire on you anyway, or B, just go right and like fry this place, depending on what you want to do. I don't think that would be okay. Anyway, God, I so wish I could play music.
In fairness, it's pretty horrid as it is.
You draw your weapons or summon your magic as a bloated, bulging mass of black flesh bursts forth from the nook, a terrible cavalcade of carapace and trembling tissue. Can we all roll
Words.
please?
Nat 20, 22, nice. If it's not 20.
Okay.
18.
I got a 12 overall.
Okay. So what did Corellia get, Shannon?
18.
18. Okay, you all did better than the monster. Okay, a warbling shriek cries out after Barney says those words, and you see something bubbling and writhing in one of these nooks behind the statue of some grim-faced diva. First to act is Barney, having noticed what's going on. What is Barney doing, Sam?
Okay, so I'm going to use Unfortunate One
Okay, nice.
On that creature.
Sure.
And I'm just going. Is it looking like it's going to attack us?
It's something that's definitely projecting a certain amount of intimidation. This horrible kind of mangled scream has come out.
Okay.
You don't know if
who's closest
you don't
to
necessarily know, but you can see something behind in the shadows moving there, in a threatening way. I would say if Corellia and Ailey are kind of inspecting around this place, you're probably the one at the center closest to it.
I would like to draw my
Cool.
and
you sheep or your blade.
that I'm going to prepare. I don't want to go like just jumping into the shadow, so I'm just going to prepare.
Okay, so to be clear, the alcove this thing is in is above ground level. It's raised up high enough that it's above your height. It's about 10 foot into the air. This thing is set into the size of this chamber, and there's something behind a statue in here.
It's above. So sorry. Is it above us? Or
yeah,
not?
it's above.
Not
It's above you.
Okay.
There's an alcove 10 feet high, high up, containing a statue of a god, and behind that statue of the god is something that is kind of squirming out.
Is there anything that we can hide behind necessarily?
Are there like
an
altar?
Pillars
try
and things?
Try to get the cylinder thing in between you and it if you want. Sure.
Yeah. I'm going to do that.
Okay, cool. So you can take cover.
I'm going to get in between.
Okay, Corellia. It's Corellia's turn.
Wondering if I want to do something useful or something in character. Ain't that always the dilemma, right? It's coming out from there's a terrible screech coming from behind the statue of a god. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna get down like my hands and knees and like shout up an apology to this god.
Sick. Okay, give me a religion check. Is there anything specific you say?
Okay. I say that we're sorry for desecrating his chamber.
Okay. Cool.
Fuck, religion's not good for me. That's a 14.
A 14. Okay, you cry out, for mercy from this thing, whatever it is. Ailey, you see Barnlect dive behind the stone altar here, and Corellia fall to her knees and start praying. What is Ailey doing?
Can you describe this thing to me? What I can see of it.
You can't. Give me a perception check.
Do I have advantage because it relies on sight?
Yes, sure.
I have that feature. I rolled a 10 and a 14, and that comes out at 19.
Okay. Looking to this alcove, you can kind of peer through the shadows here and see beyond. A kind of an abscess has formed behind the niche of stone, being kind of like, perhaps even like acidically melted away, and there is some lumpen, almost amorphous amount of flesh within, and you catch glimpses of insect-like carapace or bulging red faceted eyes like that of a fly, or the squirming kind of proboscis of some kind of creature, and hear the sizzle and the drip of acid as it spits from this hiding place. You think there's some kind of twisted insectoid monster here, perhaps warped by the magics in this place.
Is there a check I could make to relate this to my religious and technological understanding?
I mean, I think you could just shout out to everyone, like it's some mutated monster or something, or it's some twisted monster. Like, Corellia will have been wild. So, sorry.
Is there anything from my religion or my technological magic that might let me know more about its nature?
Give me an Arcana check.
That's what I was looking for. That's a 19. Plus what? 21.
You have a very limited knowledge of magic. 21. You might kind of from a connection of different like things that Ilek have said and what's present here and undying bodies. You think maybe this is some kind of like horrendous mutation that has arisen from this kind of life force tampering magic present in this place.
It's an unintended beneficiary.
Perhaps, yes.
I think I will call out. I think I will say you are no god.
Okay.
Spirits I serve are steel and shining light.
Is that your turn, or are you going to do anything else?
I'm also looking at my spells.
Okay, cool. All right.
I think I'm also going to cast Arc Lightning on it.
Okay.
What if it's not hostile, guys?
What if it's friendly?
No.
What if the twisting
That's what I'm
flesh is
saying.
friendly?
Liam, what are your rules on holding actions?
Yeah, you can say if it attacks someone, you have to set a condition, but if you say if it attacks someone, I cast Dark Lightning, and then you can use your reaction to do that. Yeah.
I will do that then. I think if it approaches someone in a way that I feel to be hostile, I will cast Arc Lightning upon it.
Exceptional. Cast Arc Lightning as it begins to attack. I'm going to let you
I cast Arc Lightning on it. I make a ranged spell attack.
Yes.
What's my attack bonus? I don't know. +7?
+7.
Dirty 20.
That will hit.
Yeah, baby.
This thing is a large quivering mass that seems to be only growing in volume. I'm going to get to what it's doing in a moment, but you can fairly easily hit this thing.
So I connect it. I connect from my staff.
Yeah. The Arc Lightning continues.
To the thing with this. Yeah, exactly. And so there's this ongoing chain of energy to it, and it takes 1d12 lightning damage. Okay. Is it too late to decide I'm doing it at a higher level?
I'll allow it, but yeah, you've got to decide that earlier on. Usually,
I do. You are correct. I should have done it earlier, but
That's
I do
fine.
want to fuck it up.
I'll let you say high level at this time. But don't
I actually have 2d12.
Cool.
Has it gone to attack?
It's about to attack.
It is trying to.
Ailey is.
But I'm hitting it for 13 lightning damage.
13 lightning damage. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. And I imagine the room is now lit up by the brightness of the beam connecting me to it.
Flashing and shadows are constantly moving around the place as your arc lightning flies off this thing. This thing bursts from its nook, and what were once just the humble legs of a fly become twisted, kind of half hard tentacles that lash down and try to strike at Barnelect behind the pillar. As it is ascending, Ailey, quickly reacting, looses this lightning bolt that strikes the thing, and where it hits its soft flesh, it swells and bursts. Can everyone give me a dexterity saving throw? Barney gets Barney gets a. I'll give you a +5 because you didn't ready in action. You're in cover, so you're crouched behind the thing, so you've got full cover. So Barney gets a +5 to this dex save, but everyone make a dexterity saving throw.
Hey.
All right. I Aiden eat this because I got a 3 after modifiers.
I would like to change your 3 to a. Just checking.
To a 3, Harry. Change it to a 3. You've got 3, 18, or 15.
Yeah.
I rolled a 2 and I get.
I'll change it. I'll get 15.
Okay, so I've rolled a 16.
Okay, cool. What did Carillia get?
Thank you.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay, and what did Barney get?
What we like. What was it? What saving throw was it again? Sorry.
Dexterity, and you're adding 5 to it because you're in cover.
Dexterity. Okay. Mine is also a dirty 20.
Okay. Ailey looses this lightning bolt, and where it hits its flesh, the blood vaporizes and causes it to swell and burst. And wherein the ichors of this creature fall, it is like acid that burns away. A globule of it flies towards Ailey, and thankfully a arcing branch of lightning strikes it and flashes it out of the air. The rest of you kind of jump back as this thing scatters around, and you hear a sizzling and a bubbling of stone where it strikes. That happens. Now it's attacking Barnalect.
It's not dead.
No. This thing, if anything, seems just spurred on by the pain it suffers as it shrieks a wobbling cry of a fly blown up to a grotesque size. What's your AC if you add 5 to it, Sam?
My AC, if you add 5 to it, is 20.
Oh,
but remember, you're rolling on unfortunate.
Oh, that means I take a D4 from all of them, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay,
Nice.
so first one, it's a miss. So what did you say your AC was? 20. Okay, well that's lucky because it causes one of those to miss. Right, 1 second. Barney takes, sorry, do my maths, takes 20 damage as 3 of these limbs rise out from the dark. 2 of them are deflected by the altar, but one of them punctures through the stone with such force. It's almost as if this thing is growing and propelling its own flesh forward and comes through and gashes Barney on the side of the shoulder. As stone rubble flies, it shrieks and its little proboscis wobbles and acid drips to the floor. And its limbs kind of retract into this niche, and this thing's faceted eyes are almost like bulging out in between the diva behind them. Their flesh is kind of pushing between the gaps, almost. Give me a perception check.
Hate your
Heilung.
fights, Liam.
I've been wanting to do this monster for a while, so I'm very pleased we finally got to fight it. Grace, can you give me a perception check?
Oh, specifically me. I'd love
specifically you.
12 and a 10 plus 4 is 16.
16. You see as it retracts its limbs where your lightning struck it and burst open parts of it, the flesh reknits. It begins to tie itself back together. It's not completely healed, but this thing is rebinding itself in such a fast rate, and looking at the flesh that is so almost liquid form, so amorphous, harming this thing seems difficult, to put it lightly. Barney, it's your turn. These limbs have just struck down and punctured through the altar to strike at you.
Are you able to take a swing at one of the limbs?
I'll let you attack one on its way back, yeah.
And can I cast Fortunate One at the same time as...
Yeah, you can just do Fortunate One on
Fortunate
yourself. Fortunate Sun on yourself, and then swing, yeah.
Okay, great. So I'm going to do Fortunate Sun as well. So that's actually for a minute. And yes, I am.
Good man.
Oh yes, indeed.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. So 18 plus 4 is 22. Plus attack. Plus attack bonus. Good lord. I hope I've hit it. If that's plus an attack bonus is plus 5, so that's 27.
Yeah, you do make 2 attacks, by the way, because I believe.
Okay, so I'll roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. So I'm going to roll again. Sorry, it's trying to. That is 8 plus 2, 10 plus 5, 15.
15. Okay. As a 15 to hit, you say?
Yes.
Yeah, both of those will hit.
Whoa! Okay, that's great.
Very
And very nice. And sorry, just looking at D10 plus 2. Do I roll the D4 as well there?
You don't. You're not rolling D10. You're rolling D8 here because you only have one hand. You can't two-hand your longsword.
Oh, of course. Sad
Sorry,
times.
I know.
R.I.P.
Yeah. So roll 2d8 and add your strength twice to that. I can roll for you if you want, by the way, if your roller isn't working.
Yes, please. If you
Right,
if you could. Sorry,
8.
just to save
You rolled
time.
8 on 2d8. What's your strength modifier?
My strength modifier is that hold on, sorry, I'm trying to find it now as we speak. Strength modifier plus 2.
Plus 2. Okay, so 12 damage you deal to it. Cool. as these limbs retract, you kind of leap up and you slice off the end of two of these things, and it screeches. Can you give me a dexterity saving throw? I'm going to say just Barney this time, because you're only hitting limbs extended towards you.
Jesus. Oh hey, nat 20.
Nat 20. Okay. You strike at these things. These two tips fall to the floor. The thing screeches, and the spewing ichors, its black bile and blood, sizzles and splashes around you like acid. But you manage to deftly move out the way. You see where the two tips have fallen. They begin to kind of like almost bubble, and they seem to try to regrow as well. And as this thing recoils back, you see already that where you have hacked off its limbs, they are regrowing. That makes it Corellia's turn.
Okay, so don't want to waste my turn. So can I tell you what I want to do? And if you're like, you wouldn't be able to do that, can I not do that, or would that count as
yeah?
my
No,
turn
absolutely.
anyway?
You can say like, "Can I try this? Can I try that?" Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Would I be able to use my psychic abilities to try and figure out if there is, like, what is giving it the power to like heal itself? Is it coming from within itself, or is it something within the temple?
Yeah. Just give me a check with your charisma on with proficiency.
Yeah, I love that. Like,
Just with
like
proficiency.
searching out its life force and like seeing where it's coming from. That's really cool.
It's just a 12.
Just a 12. Doesn't matter. You extend your psychic senses and look at this thing, and it is almost remote, like looking into the sun. This thing is such a dense, lumpen mass of life force. You can tell immediately that its regenerative powers come from the fact that it simply has such an abundance of this stuff that it is able to just kind of regrow as it pleases. The wounds dealt to it by Ailey and Barnlect are, a drop of water compared to an ocean, or maybe an ocean might be a bit harsh. A whole swimming pool, at least. But I will say, extending your senses, you also pick up this thrum of life force within this golden beating heart and the golden substance it seems to excrete, or not excrete. It's bleeding. That's not going to be your turn. That's just you extending your psychic senses. So you're still free to do your action and so on.
Can I just
So do an
follow up on
action.
that? Did you say that there's a connection to the golden ichor of the heart?
Yeah. It's strange to you, as a liquid, it itself possesses a life force.
That heart.
Barney, we're gonna get you a new hand.
Gonna get you a new heart.
The golden goo.
Yeah, baby.
Sorry.
Yeah, baby.
Do I think that this, like, is this thing too powerful for us? Like, we're just like basically scratching at a tree. Like, looking at this thing, it's like a thing that you could hack at for years and it may still be alive. Perhaps there's some way to circumvent its abilities. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but just just trying to break its flesh like Barney and Ailey are doing might be a futile attempt. Yeah.
Gonna have to speak to it again.
Is there any sign of technology in the process of its life force having?
A technological process? I think that's really beyond the ken of Corellia to know.
Oh, yeah, sure. I guess I imagine maybe Corellia can sense where it might be coming from. I don't know.
No, I think it's just like, once a thing ingests anything that gives it life, it becomes part of its life. So you can't look at someone and know what food they ate. You can't know that they ate that fish over there or something.
Okay.
Liam, I really wish you understood that Grace is smart. So I don't got no brains.
That's cool. Yeah. I mean, you know.
Okay, I'm gonna shout out that to them, like, attacking its body is going to do fucking nothing, as I also dive behind the pillar that Sam was behind.
Okay.
Behind.
You're going to dive
Sam is
behind
a
a fairly small altar that's supposed to one person's supposed to lean over and try to fight for cover with. I think it's not going to be able to
No,
cover
I'm not
two
going to do
people.
that. Sorry, I thought it would.
There are
Is there
also
somewhere else I can find
there are also
cover, or is that the only place?
The sarcophagus-like containers behind you that contain, these ever-sleeping bodies. I will allow you to take cover behind one of those if you want.
I say we take the hard and run.
What are you saying, Grace?
Could we make it overheal? If it just becomes like a weird blob, it's got like if it overgrows itself. I guess probably it's already done that. Liam, is there scope for Corellia's powers? Because I haven't seen Corellia's character sheet. Can you just be like, I want to reach in and fuck with its healing? Or is that too broad?
That's something that Corellia can try, for sure. But that's up to Shannon.
Still of an action, baby. Let's do it.
Well, so what is it you're doing?
Like to reach in and fuck with its healing.
Okay. When you say fuck with its healing, do you want to try to stem its ability to heal?
They want at lowest level to stem its ability to heal. At the highest level, if we can turn that healing ability around and make it do damage to itself, why not? Let's go crazy. I've got a psychic mind full of weird powers.
Oh, and giving it an autoimmune problem with its degree of healing would be really unkind.
Yeah. Anyway, let's not tell Shannon how to play a character too much. Okay. So, what spell do you think most suits this circumstance?
No, I'm just agreeing. I think it's great.
Oh, the spell that would most suit it is Siphoning Touch, but I don't want to be touching.
Oh, you don't want to have physical contact with it. Okay. I think if you want to do Siphoning Touch, having a direct contact with it, so if you want to meddle with its life force, you kind of really need direct contact, as gross as it is.
I don't care about the gross. I care about the 20 damage to Sam. Okay, fuck it, yeah. Have I already gone behind the thing, or can I go now to go touch
you can
its
move forward and try to grab one of its
body?
You can try to grab one of its retracting limbs. Sure.
Grabbing.
Okay, give me it's an attack roll, isn't it? It's a spell attack roll.
Yeah, let me... Siphoning Touch is a... Yeah, melee spell attack. Which, if anyone wants to remind me what that is, that'd be cool.
That you just roll and you add your charisma and your proficiency. So I think that's +7 for you.
Okay. That's a 20. Oh, again. Dirty 20, not a clean one.
Okay.
Also 20.
Let me just... Give me 1 second. I just want to look at the rules of Siphoning Touch. And tell me what it is you want... Tell me what it is you want to do with Siphoning Touch here.
I mean, I will very much do the damage, because I feel like necrotic damage maybe won't spit acid at me. And then I would also, try and either stop its healing abilities or reverse them. I'm fine with either.
So you're not going to try to siphon its life force. You're just instead trying to move it around with inside it. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. I will allow you to do that. So you got a 20. So you run forward and grasp with one of your hands one of these things. Roll me some damage.
9, 10. It's 10 damage.
Okay, 10 damage. And give me just give me essentially another spell attack roll as a check to see if you can work your magic here.
Or 13.
How much, sorry?
13.
13.
3.
Okay, you lunge forward and grab onto this thing, and you kind of just grab and twist the life force inside of it, and you see kind of a series of kind of ruptures spread up this thing's limb that Corellia has just grabbed, and the flesh itself begins to almost melt out of the carapace briefly. It shrieks in pain, but as you've grabbed onto this thing and contacted with this life force, you try to shut off the flow of it to all of its body, which is a large task, and you have just touched this, as I said, it's like looking at the sun, this massive reservoir, even containing just a single limb, and it begins to kind of flood into you and almost poison you. And I am going to have you take 7 points of necrotic damage. You cough blood as this stuff pumps into you. And this life force coming into you finds nowhere to go and just kind of bursts at the extremities of your existence. After that, can you make a Carillia make a wisdom saving throw for me?
Okay.
That's Carillia. It's Ailey's turn now. You've just seen Carillia reach forward, grab this thing. The limb itself appears to have kind of half exploded, half melted. This limb is becoming weathered and broken. Carillia has done something that harms this creature. And you appear to have put one of its 3 limbs out of commission. So that has a benefit. But you also see Carillia cough blood as she grabs this thing and kind of shudders. What's Ailey doing? Oh, and sorry, Shannon, what did Carillia get for that wisdom saving throw?
16.
16. All right, cool.
So I have to decide if I'm going to keep lightninging it. And I don't think that's a good idea. So I'm going to let that go. Is there any, Liam, do I have any kind of like ability to sense technological objects or anything like that?
I mean, you can kind of just see that they're technological objects here. Are you trying to sense something that's like deliberately hidden or something?
Well, say in the alcove covered by the horrible near fluid body of the beast, there was, say, an uplink to the life support system that was accidentally feeding it too much support.
A technology within it. Yeah, you could try to sense that for sure. If you had the means to.
What kind of thing would I do for that?
Well, your sacred territory detects technology, but that takes 10 minutes to do, I believe. So if you have a spell that, if you have the spell to detect technology, you can use that, but I don't know if you do.
I don't think I do. So, but there's no kind of innate sense for it.
No, you don't have an innate ability to sense technology.
And I can't.
You would need like
just cast malfunction, just hoping for a target.
I would have you make. I think they make a saving throw. I'd have them make a saving throw on advantage, and like if they fail, that doesn't mean that necessarily there is something there. That just means you fail to find any purchase.
Yeah, I think that's too far-fetched. I'm much better against technology than mutating healing beasts. There is an idea, though. I could try to protect you in another way.
Got to tell me what you're doing.
So I have a question. Silent illusion creates an image of an object, creature, or some other visible phenomenon no larger than a 15-foot cube.
Mm-hmm.
Can I create 2 separate things within the cube?
I think the spirit of it is that you create an object, but if there's perhaps a tangential relation between the 2 objects, I might allow it. It depends on what you're trying to make.
So specifically, I want to achieve 2 separate goals. I want to distract the creature's attention, and I want to literally obscure its line of sight to my companions.
Okay. You could create an object in its.
Could I create a stage and players upon it? Set dressings, jesters, cavorting actors, all sorts.
All within 15 foot.
Within a 15-foot cube. Right? They could be 5 feet off the ground, and then there's still space for the guy on it.
I guess.
It could be 5 feet deep, even 10 feet deep.
This seems like
they could be running around
bullshit,
each other,
I feel like
and
I have to
there's
say
still a
yes
set
because
at the back.
Technically, it should be allowed within what I've said. I mean, this feels like I've got, but I guess I have to allow this BS.
Liam, I'm quite happy to post the spell text you wrote in the chat.
No, I know you're holding it against me. Yes,
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it now. It's going to happen.
Okay, well, here's the kicker. Has Ailey ever seen a travelling circus or theatre?
I have seen performances of the oral tradition of Dwerinish.
Okay, fine. You got me.
So I'm going to do that. I'm going to create a stage. I'm going to create a backdrop in which I am at the back. I create people speaking and moving about and whirling and performing their dervish dances. But importantly, it's all between the enemy and my companions.
Right. Okay. So the backdrop of the stage is in front of this thing's face.
Right in his face.
Okay.
I don't pay for trust to smash
Suddenly,
illusions.
Carillia and Barnett, you are surrounded by spinning, chanting ghosts. Something scary.
It's a sudden change from the lightning, but like, am I still chanting? Do I have to chant all of this?
I believe you do have to be chanting while you do it. Okay, well...
Play some fat beats for us.
That's alright, because it's the monster's turn now, and it's got an AoE. Can everyone give me a dexterity saving throw?
Oh boy, can I?
Barney, I'm going to say because you took an attack, you're not going to be... You're only going to get half cover, so you're adding +2 to all of your dexterity saving throw here.
Okay.
Because I'm like your
What's
bottom
the
half.
save?
Can I add
Dexterity.
my does my D4 still apply to
Yeah,
this?
I believe it does because it's saving throws. It applies to saving throws, right?
Is this the bubbling blood?
It's just something a bit different.
Oh, okay.
I got a 7.
7.
I got a 15.
And Barn, let's
Got a
go.
14.
54. Unlucky. Okay. You burning anything, Sam, or not?
I don't want to because because I literally only got one left. But yeah, because I think it might kill me otherwise. So I'm going to change my 18. I'm going to change it to my 18. So then that'll be 24.
Okay. Well, I didn't roll very well.
Shit.
You see, behind the illusory backdrop, you see black flesh around where this thing's head effectively would be, kind of bulge out, expand, and then contract. And you see its proboscis poke through and vomit a torrent of digestive fluids into this place.
Stop saying what?
Barnlek dives behind the cover of the cylinder at the centre of the room that the acid just slides off, but Ailey and Corellia are both caught in the gout and take 13 acid damage
Covered
each.
in gunk.
These are like the enemies in
Say that?
Super Mario Sunshine.
I don't think there's
To be
giant
clear, did this happen in my turn?
No, your turn ended and then the monster went, right? Or
So I didn't have any opportunity to take cover, which I would have done.
Oh, okay. Fine. Well, what would that have changed your thing to? 'Cause plus you get.
Do I get a +5?
No, you get a +2. If you want to
Plus,
not do an action and hide behind something fully, you can get a +5. But
Oh.
otherwise, it's a +2.
with the +2, I have a 17.
Okay. Just Corellia takes the damage then.
Jesus.
Was that a 1-3 or a 3-0?
That's 1-3. You take 13.
Hey, you are shit hot on it tonight.
Okay.
This is important because if I get hurt, the illusion might break.
Yeah.
What's a proboscis? Proboscis?
The tubular mouth of an insect. You know how flies
Tubular.
So flies to eat things, they vomit their stomach acid onto things and then they suck up the goop thereof.
Is it like rigid or is it wobbly? And
No,
like,
it's wobbly.
what's
It's
the-
wobbly.
And like, what's the I just need this to be my
For your
mental
nightmares.
image. What sort of girth has it got?
Very girthy. All the girth you could ask for.
I mean, shut up.
Do you see thickness of it?
Sorry, I know
my God.
exactly what a proboscis is. I just wanted this conversation.
Barnlex and Ailey dive. Ailey, you duck behind one of these kind of half sarcophagi. You see the acid spills onto one of these sleepers in there and melts through the bandages on them and goes to the flesh that turns red and raw, and then you just see comes back to normal and immaculate. The bandages fall away because they have been kind of split at places due to the acid, but the flesh itself is unmarred. However, Corellia, this acid falls upon you and you take 13 more damage as it burns your flesh and scales. You cry out in pain. That's the monster. It's going to now see if it can break free of the statue restraining it.
Pals, I'm just going to pop to the loo.
No.
But you can make any sense.
Is that still...
Won't let you die.
Okay, sure. You see two of its still functioning limbs kind of curl round and try to push out of this alcove, and you see a few stones tumble through the backdrop of Ailey's theatre, but although this thing screams and protests, it doesn't manage to break the statue in front of it and free itself from its prison. Barney, it's your turn.
I'm just going to shout. I don't think that we're gonna kill this thing. I say we grab our guys and get out.
I think I can do it.
What?
I took out one of its legs already, and it's only got 2 more. Magic fingers.
It's only
I
had
can
2
do
chances
this.
to attack so far. But yeah.
I believe in me.
Okay. I believe in you. Let's do this. So okay, yeah. So I'm gonna look at the heart, and
Sure.
I'm gonna go for the heart.
All right. What do you do?
For it in what sense?
I get down on one knee and say, "Brilliant,
Please, God."
Yeah. I'm gonna go up to. Is the heart just floating?
No, it's suspended by like I mean, you know, in the scientific sense, it's like it's tubing and wiring and piping, but it just looks like kind of like an extension of the organ to you, within a thick glass cylinder. And you can see from like just how perfectly cylindrical this thing is. This is kind of a divine work. So.
Oh God, no! I can't smash. Yeah, should I smash it?
You can try with a iron sword, but you might find yourself, you know, it might be difficult.
Does it?
It's not like
Does it look?
Separate to the chance of success, part of me is like, you should absolutely smash it. But on the other hand, like, maybe all the people here will die.
I'm gonna go for a sleeper. I'm gonna go for a sleeper and grab a sleeper because
Sam,
I'm not doing much.
Smash it and shout like, "I'm gonna be with Zurab again," and then smash it. Yeah.
I don't think that's quite gonna.
I put my cap down like this.
What's your plan with the sleeper?
I'm gonna try and get as many to the door as possible in case we have.
Yeah.
No, and just like so that we can escape with them. Otherwise, we're going to be screwed.
Can you give me a strength check as you run up to one of these and try to pull them?
Yeah, I can. That's lucky. 18 plus strength is strength. Where is it? +2. So 14, 18, 20.
20. Okay, great. You quickly wrap your arms around these. You don't need two hands for this, and you just wrench back and pull them over your shoulder. You hear kind of a clatter and look back, and you see that in the back of the sarcophagus are kind of three wires from which extend long, thin needles, and you kind of catch a glint of blood falling off one of them as you've pulled them out, and these things have been pulled out of the back of this person's neck. You wrench this person back, the needles clatter, and what do? You're carrying this person fairly proficiently. You've got adrenaline pumping through you. You can run. You can throw them towards the exit. What are you doing?
I'm gonna run towards the exit and place it just on the outside of the door.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Nice.
Okay, you run.
I'm gonna do that, and then
I'd say
they got an attack of opportunity, or.
No, it's not going to get attack of opportunity because it's Grace, I think you missed this mutated fly thing is trying to free itself from its prison behind the statue and is starting to make breaks against it, but hasn't managed to free itself yet.
I have an idea now. Okay. Excellent.
I think that's Barney's turn, it'd be fair to say.
Am I able to throw myself against the wall just in case, where it is?
I would say you've gone down the corridor. You've gone beyond the holographic edifice that's the entrance to this place. You're kind of outside of the immediate threat area of this creature, so you're not at risk. Carillia.
Okay, great.
You are trying to. Are you still trying to grasp this thing and work it? I mean, you've made one of its arms kind of dysfunctional for now, but are you still holding on to it?
I'd like to saunter over onto arm number 2 and try it again, baby.
Okay. So these arms are 10 feet above you, trying to push this thing out of its prison. So you would have to try to jump to get to them. You are holding on to one of them. It's still attached to its body. It's just fucked up.
I am in the air.
No. One of this thing's limbs, the one that you grabbed, is still attached to it. So it's not like you've severed the life force from it completely. It's just that you are fucking it up.
But this one limb is dysfunctional. I want to make another limb dysfunctional at the least.
Okay.
So
I'm not guaranteeing that letting go of this and doing what you're doing means that therefore it stops working forever. It may come back. Because currently what you're doing is it's like you're damming something that if you go, the dam goes and the life force might come back.
Well, I feel like you're guiding me with a very firm hand, so I'm going to say, okay, Liam, I'm going to do...
I'm just saying that, like, if
No,
you want to try to go from limb to limb, it's not,
so
it may not do much.
I'm going to stay at this limb then, and siphoning touch again. Siphoning touch, siphon the touch.
Okay, give me an attack roll.
Okay. 26.
26, and then can you also give me a
Damage.
the damage, and then can you make a check again using your spell attack modifier? I should just call these psychic checks because it's like Arcana.
Oh, she rolled a 19 the first time. She rolled an 18 the second time. This is great. That was 25.
So I'm confused.
25 for the.
That's the
25
check
for
you're
the
rolling.
psychic spell attack.
And what's the damage?
Damage is 6, 7, 8, 14.
14. Okay, so I just want to be clear here. You've done a spell attack to hit this thing, and then you've also rolled a check, right? And for the check you got, did you say you rolled an 18 or you got an 18?
Rolled an 18, I got a 25.
Okay, cool.
Love it.
As you are holding this thing, you're trying to...
Love it too.
Kind of, your manipulation of its life force is almost melting the flesh from its... I mean, it's got an exoskeleton, doesn't have bones, but you are rending this thing apart. But as you're doing so, the life force is flowing into you. It has nowhere else to go and burns at your definitions. You look up and see where would be one of the heads of another one of these divas in the alcoves above you is instead a golden sphere.
My dream.
And a voice in your head will speak to you. The earth is the source of all life and strength. All things put upon you, if you are anchored to the earth, can be returned there. And I will allow you on your good roll to move the life force that is pumping into you as you grasp this thing through your feet into the ground and away from you, so you do not take damage. And you send your psychic energy through this thing. You almost like slicing the nerves at points. You partition where the life force of this thing is, and this limb essentially disintegrates. Plates of chitin clatter to the ground around you, and flesh splatters and sizzles on the stonework. I will say you have completely destroyed one of the limbs of this thing. It shrieks and wobbles in pain. I think that's Corellia's turn, assumedly. I do need you to give me a dexterity saving throw to avoid the acidic blood of this thing.
That's a 4.
A 4. You're drenched in acid. That's you take 5 acid damage as you've destroyed this thing and your hands burn and pop with the acidic blood of this thing. Ailey, what's Ailey doing now?
Well, I'm thinking about how thinking about how to cast my spells. Can I concentrate on a spell while also doing a mantra?
I think because mantras are concentration spells, that might not really be in the spirit of things, but because the idea is that with your concentration spells, you are continuing to do a mantra, because it is not that you are mentally concentrating, it's you're doing something that represents concentration. So you are probably chanting a mantra right now anyway.
And do I think this creature has given any shits about the illusion I made?
Well, it changed its tactics. It can't attack with its limbs that do a lot of damage, and so it tries to spray you all in acid instead. And it's trying to break itself free to get past this thing that's blocking its face. But
well, I'd like to ask my companions then, shall I drop the illusion and do a mantra that might... actually, do you know what? I'm going to check exactly what happens just to be sure.
I'm going to say up next is the monster and then Barney. We're getting a bit late on here, so let's try to keep pace up.
So it's more like I don't actually know if the mantra I was going to use would actually help.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't help. So I'm actually going to... So I can concentrate on my illusion while just doing other stuff, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Then... do I have a sling I can carry the staff in without holding it in my hands?
I'd say you're proficient with it enough that, like, if you're gonna try to, are you trying to pick up one of the sleepers here? Yeah, you can just kind of rest it in your elbow and pick them up, and their pressure against it will hold it on your person. Yeah.
Then I will try to evacuate a sleeper.
Can you give me a strength check, please?
Oh, I love strength checks. Being enormous and bulky. So this is rolling with +0, and I rolled a 5. So I'm going to frantically tug at someone's elbow and achieve nothing.
Yeah, you try to pull at this thing. There's something that's like attached to the back of their neck that's holding them in this thing. You need someone to give you a hand here.
Yeah.
That's Ailey done. Now it's the monster's turn.
Am I able to take cover again?
Sorry?
Am I able to take cover again?
Okay, I'll allow it. I mean, it's making attacks on disadvantage anyway. Its limbs are going to thrash about wildly. It's getting disadvantage because can't see anyone. Miss. And what's Ailey's AC?
My AC with cover of +2
Yep.
is 13.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not.
These limbs are thrashing around. You take 12 piercing damage as one of these things flies past and slices across your arm, and you're almost slammed back against the wall behind you as these things smash about the place. They then again return to try to pull itself out of its alcove.
I'm going to make a concentration check to not break the illusion.
Oh, yeah, concentration check.
16.
16. Okay, you maintain it.
Right, 17 with the bonus.
Sure.
So.
These limbs extend out, push at the sides, and there is a scrape and a break, and you see falling through the illusion, the statue of the diva is pushed through and shatters onto the ground. This thing is still blinded by your backdrop, but there is now nothing impeding it escaping from its hole. Barney, it is your turn.
I'm running back in and going to grab another sleeper.
Sure, give me a strength check.
I have rolled, and it is 1921.
Oh, good man. Inspiration for rolling ahead of time. I'm very pleased with you. You run past, you see Ailey trying to pull these ones. You quickly grab and you know to put your hand now where the neck is and pull it, and these 3 long needles are pulled out of the neck of this thing, and you pull them away. And I'm assuming you begin to run back to the entrance.
I'm doing the same.
Cool. Fair to say that's your turn then, or is there anything else you're doing?
Yeah, that's
all right,
fine.
So, Carillia, you are being melted by acid. What's Carillia's hit points, can I ask?
What's left?
Yeah, what's left?
12 whole
12,
points.
okay. Well, you're 12, and you are essentially the one closest to this thing because you grabbed onto its limb, and you can see it's beginning to kind of undulate out of its alcove above you as the statue has fallen out. This thing could fall potentially on top of you if you don't move. What are you doing?
Okay.
Ailey's up next.
Ailey is supporting herself by her staff, and she is spitting out the phrases of her mantra, and she pauses for a second, and she says, "Run!"
How's it looking? Have I been doing any actual serious damage, or is this thing still...
Yeah, you melted one of its 3 limbs, so you've done something to it. But at the same time, you have definitely sliced off a chunk of this thing. But you think maybe at your level of damage, taking on this thing one-on-one is beyond you for now, at least.
Run!
Okay, I'm running. I listen to Ailey.
Okay, I would have reminded you of the point that Barney has got 2 bodies. You elected to say 3. You are aware of the circumstance, so if that shapes...
I run to help Ailey with a body.
Okay.
Running towards Ailey and the body.
I will allow you then... Okay, I'll allow you to move to her, use your action to help her, and then, assuming she pulls out the body, both of you can move out of this place if you want. Which means it's Ailey's turn now.
I go with the body.
Give me a strength check and advantage then.
Oh boy. That's an 18 and a crit.
Okay, awesome.
Beauty.
You and Carillia grab and wrench this person out. Again, the 3 needles come out of the back of this person. And between you begin to assumedly sprint towards the exit of this place. I think it's 1:15 now. We've run a bit over. I think it's going to be right for me to take over narratively here. Get out.
I have a thing, though. I wanted to seal it in with Architect, if I could.
Architect, I think Architect's a mantra, so you need at least 3 turns or 18 seconds.
Well, my plan was to get to the top ahead of the others and do the mantra as they got up and hope it didn't get out in time.
Well,
and see what happens if it got there to me in time.
Okay, I don't think you... I think you know you don't have time for that. You don't think that this thing might move fast and it's 18 seconds. I'm going to say you run out carrying the body, you lay it down, you kind of almost stumble into the rubble outside of this place. You run through this, kind of almost holographic edifice. You hear this kind of sickening, crunching splat as this thing rolls from the alcove onto the ground, and this amorphous flesh begins to half crawl, half undulates like a slug towards you. And as it begins to pick up speed and screeching, spitting acid around, you just by pure kind of intellectual instinct, Ailey shouts out, Aum Thatum Ilish Satach, and a beam of light strikes the blood that you've quickly come, and suddenly the edifice solidifies again, and you hear a thud as this monster collides on the inside. And although there are a few more thuds, this barrier that's come up seems impenetrable, perhaps. And you look down, you see you have 3 sleepers who are still indeed asleep, their arms crossed. One of them, perhaps their arm has fallen to the side due to their bandages being melted by acid. Yeah, I think we're going to end there and pick up next time. I had a lot of fun with this session. Harry, I hope you enjoyed this as a bystander.
No, this sucked.
We will see Harry's new character next session, which I'm very excited for.
Will we? Or will we dick around in the jungle or something for 40 years? No, I'm sure it will be lovely and fun.
Anyway, we're slightly running over, so I'm going to end quickly. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Goodbye. See you next week.